You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbyson, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbyson, joined with Reed Bacon. As you can tell, my voice is still a little gone. Me and Reed got a chance to go to the game this past weekend. Wasn't the prettiest win, but a win is a win is a win. So we're going to break down everything. We're going to talk about everything. Try and keep it under 2 hours this time, but we shall see. First, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. And if you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download, follow us on all those listening platforms and follow us on social media. So let's jump into it. Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Let's go.
We got to win versus the rival, baby.
Let's go. Kyler, have you heard that thing that goes around like a little viral video? It's like, let him cook. Let him cook. Well, it's a good thing that it's timely that your voice is not working right now as well because of all the yelling. Mine, it was a little raspy on Saturday, a little Saturday night, a little raspy Sunday, but I am very ready to cook. I got a lot of stuff to say, especially to start off, okay?
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
Are you ready?
I guess so. I guess I'll have to be.
Or you know what? You can tell me how your weekend was, and then I'll cook. What would you prefer?
Oh, okay. My weekend was great. It started off playing golf with my best friend and his family on Friday, hitting a few good shots with the old buddy Bacon. So that was very enjoyable. Then Saturday, got to see my family. Got to have lunch with them before tailgating with Reed and watching the game with them, even though it was nerve-wracking. And then Sunday was one of those Sunday scaries a little bit where it's like, not hungover by any means, but just like, oh, yeah, there's real world now, like getting back into the swing of things. Okay, I got to do this laundry. Okay, I got to get this done. Okay, I got to get that. And it was like, okay, because I was also off work last week too. So it was all of it, getting back into it, which is why we were recording Monday night because there was so much. But overall, fantastic weekend and loved hanging out with you, getting a chance to be together.
Did everyone hear that he said playing golf with his best friend?
This guy.
My lovely wife just dropping off my water. What a gem. Oh, hey, bring my wedding ring. I forgot to put it on after my shower. I feel necky without my wedding ring.
We can't let these cleat chasers get after Reed on here.
Yeah, your boy tanking, cuz. All right, so yeah, it was it was awesome. Thursday night, getting to go to the Catholic game, hang out with you. That's a great conversation for another time because we got to go see George McIntyre. That's not why we went. We would have gone no matter who Catholic was playing. It just ended up timing up that way. So Friday was great. It was beautiful weather for golf. It was great to get out there.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. You're right. It was. I had not played golf since July 19th, aka the day before my wedding. Had not touched a club, and it was great to get out there. Holston's in great shape right now, so it was fun to be back out there. Not only did I tell you this, but my dad also made a comment to me about it. But like, man, Kyler looks like he's gotten, significantly better since we played in the spring at Pinehurst on my bachelor party. And you're like, well, I've only played 3 different times since then, but but you did look noticeably. You had noticeably better. You had some really, really nice shots off the tee with your irons, and so you you did well. I mean, you played well. I was happy with how I played for the first time in a long time, and so it was great. And then Saturday was awesome, and thanks to you, a memory that I had gotten to do a couple of times, getting down there on the field, and I don't ever take that for granted because not many people get to do it. Right before a game. I mean, going in there, just being on the field anytime is really cool because you can see how big it is. But when the fans are already starting to get in there, the players are coming out, you kind of start feeling that buzz. I mean, like I said, because of you've taken me down there now 3 times, but this time was really special because you took my dad and my Uncle Lou down there, and seeing them and their faces, how appreciative they were, how much they enjoyed it. And, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. It's something I'll always remember and always be appreciative for. I know the same thing for them. And then our tickets were awesome. That's a good perk of being a former player. You asked early enough that we weren't up in the nosebleed.
That's right. That's right.
50-yard line, 20 rows up. Couldn't ask for anything better. So everything all the way around, it was great. It still would have been great even if we had not won the game. But, my goodness, we won the game. And so, just huge shout out to you. Here's a couple things that I have to start off.
And Reed meeting his second favorite Tennessee football player.
I did meet Al Wilson. Yeah. And I wasn't going to dive into that because I don't want to take a lot of time. Very quickly, I had been around him some at different events and seen him on campus, but I had never actually gone up to him, shake his hand, dap him up. I'll just say this: the dude could not have been more nice, more genuine, more appreciative of the things that I said to him, and he was gracious to get a picture with us. And I'm not going to get into what I said to him just yet because I want to be timely on this. We can talk about it another time. But I do think it was really funny. And I do want to say this, that, I dap him up, ask him for a picture, say something to him real quick. We talk for a minute, and then, Lou comes in. He introduces himself to my Uncle Lou. Hey, Al, Lou Chioza, nice to meet you. Then he goes, say, Al, to my dad. My dad said, Robbie Bacon, nice to meet you. You were going to get someone to come take the picture. And as you step up to take the picture, he sticks his hand out. It's funny. He's introducing himself to everyone. We know who you are. But he says, hey, I'm Al. And you said, hey, I'm Kyler. And as I've got my arm around Al, getting ready to take this picture, and you introduce, and this lady's about to be like, 1, 2, 3, say cheese. As he introduces to you, I said, yeah, that's Kyler. He was the starting left tackle here for 2 years. He's a good player. And then and then smile because it's like I gotta let my boy know, like, hey, we're not just fans. He played here too, just like you did. It was a good player. So I thought that was funny.
He's got my back.
Yeah, always. You're my second favorite player of all time, but he's actually my first. Cheese. Okay. Anyways, couple things, and like I said, in no particular order. Keenan Peely going down really, really stinks. I really hate that. I really, really hate that for him and the journeys that he's been through. Tearing his ACL and BYU, trying to come back and play. Then he transfers, gets here, gets his season taken out from under him in one week game in. Then he works all the way back, gets to come back another year. He's healthy so far through, 4 games, 5 games, playing really well, a very integral part of this team and this defense, and then goes down. And, we were there and it happened in front of us, but we didn't necessarily see it. And so we were like, was it a concussion? Then it was like, well, is it a shoulder? Bro, we were completely off because then.
No, literally, I didn't even think it was a leg. The way he went down, I had no idea it was a lower extremity. I was like, what? ACL? Like when you told me that, I was like, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a shoulder. You thought it was maybe a concussion. Then on Twitter that night, I see that he was on the sideline in street clothes on crutches. So I was like, well, that's not good. I don't know why he'd be on crutches if it was necessarily a shoulder or head injury. And then I just happened to be on Twitter today posting something on our account, and it literally said 59 seconds ago, and it was from Ryan Shumpert, and it said Keenan Peely's out and towards ACL. which then that made me realize, Coach Heupel was speaking today, so I went and listened to it. But yeah, so just, man, when I say prayers, like I mean that. I'm very much a very faithful person. My religion is faith is very serious to me. So it's like I've always said on here, I don't care who it is, even Graham Mertz, the opposite team's quarterback, and he goes down. I feel terrible for him because I know what goes into it, and it's really, really tough for multiple reasons, and I can't imagine what KP's going through mentally on something like this. So, prayers for him and his family. Okay, the next thing, another injury. Like, I didn't even know that Bryson Eason, like, it didn't comprehend to me that the dude wasn't, like, out for the year. Like, there was so much going on after that Arkansas game, and when he went down, I was like, that didn't look good. There was so much going on this week of, like, getting the podcast in, talking about everything Arkansas, then getting ready for the Florida game and having the family coming in town and doing everything. It's like I never checked to see what his status was. And then I look up and he's playing in the game. And he's playing well. I was like, holy crap, like, what a bonus. And so that was just one person's perspective. I don't know if anyone else had that, but, like, I just thought Bryson was gone, and I never checked on it this week. Then we have the fans. I said that I was going to stay off of Twitter after games, and I pretty much did. But then I could not believe that I found myself at the game where literally maybe our first possession in, maybe our second possession, and it's 3rd and 15. We're backed up against our own goal line. Yeah. He runs it, and immediately people kind of want to start boo-burrings coming out. Someone else goes, it's the same old play calling. And another one goes, that's chicken shit play calling. I'm so done. And my mind was just blown. I was like, I knew fans could be bad, but this is on another level. And you and I heard it multiple times of, like, pass the ball, Heupel's lost it, he's not his same person. And I was like, you people, in my head, I'm like, could not be more wrong. But the other thing is, it's 3rd and 15. We've had issues with pass protection. Heupel knows how good our defense is. He's not going to give Florida a gift with 8 minutes and 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. And, here's the thing. Heupel used to go for it on fourth down and not punt because of our defense when he first got here. Now he punts it because of how good our defense is. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like he used not to punt because of our defense.
He's got that in his back pocket. He has something to lean on. The defense has the offense's back. That's just how it is this year. And it's like Heupel sees that in every offensive possession. He plays the field position battle as well. And it's like, listen, guys, there's way more that goes into football than, you're running it on this down or you're passing it on this down. It's just a lot of people see it like that. They're like, why are we running it so much? Or why did we pass it there? Or why did we run it there? It's like, well, there's a multitude of reasons why. I thought it was so funny. Like, you're probably going to mention this, but the infamous kid from the game, there's a video going around now because he got on the radio, and they asked him what else he saw at the game. He's like, Heupel's got to open up the offensive playbook. He said, just runs on 1st and 2nd and an incomplete pass on 3rd, and we're punting. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I'm just thinking in my head, if you as a fan think the exact same thing that a 10-year-old thinks, then maybe you don't know ball. Like, well, you should think about it. If you have the same opinion as a 10-year-old, maybe you should hold on for a second and be like, okay, maybe I need to reevaluate.
Well, and first off, maybe because he's hearing that from someone older than him. And so maybe, but listen, that kid.
Electric.
Was one of the, I'm not kidding, it was one of my favorite. I will remember that for as long as I live, like I remember big-time plays that were made. Because, and I didn't think there would be anything that would make me dislike him, and now I'm kind of like, oh, great. Now he's saying stuff about Heupel. No, I'm just kidding. He's 10, so I still love the kid. And I can't wait to see him get to meet the players and dance with them because I know that they'll probably make it happen. I sure as hell, I'll be there again this weekend for Bama. I hope they bring him out at some point. But the thing is like, it wasn't just like kind of cute and funny. Like the dude could like actually kind of dance for his age.
Yeah, no, he definitely can.
And he was getting it. And the funny thing is, it's just like, they just show him and he makes the most of his opportunity, dances and crushes it. And he was on there for a good time. Then they did the whole like, go away, we boo, bring him back and we cheer. But then they came back to him at the end. Like it was literally, he was almost like a hype man. Like what they try to pay Sterl the Pearl to do, forget that. Like just show the kid. So,
no kidding. I like the entire stadium erupted when he did it the first time. It was fun. It was a cool thing. We were still losing in the game, and it wasn't like a great period. And then the second time, we're fighting back, and it's starting to get close. And they kind of go to him, and he's sitting down, and he's like, all right, I'll get up and do it again. And the whole stadium goes crazy. And I think it literally like played over into the cheering on defense. Like it literally helped us.
No one could tell me different being in that stadium that kid didn't lift the spirits and lift the overall vibe in there. He just did. He just did. Like that kid, I hope they really like let him. I'm not gonna sit here and give him free tickets for life or something, but like let him meet the team at some point. I hope they bring him to practice, let him dance, do a whole segment about it. You know, let him come on the field pregame, bring him out on the field to do a dance or something, or put him somewhere through the stadium and then spotlight just him. I mean, it was dope. It was dope. A couple other things real quick that are just the different hits. Jermon McCoy, thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you for returning punts. I've never been more pumped on a 10-yard punt return in my life. And this is not a shot at Squirrel at all. It's not. I really like Squirrel. But special teams are so important. I looked at you one time during the game and said, looky there. People wanted us to go for it. He punted it. We backed him up. We stopped them. They punt. And then we ended up going down. And that's when we scored on the long counter play. And it's like we just played football the way it was supposed to be played, meaning played field position, let your D eat. So it's like, and then Jermod caught the one that he bobbled, but then he still got 10 yards or 15 yards. It was like, and I looked at you, I said, look at that difference. You said, yeah. I said, he caught that on the 10 and took it all the way to like the 25. We've already talked about the percentages. If you go and look them up, if your team starts on the 18 compared to the 25 compared to the 33. So catching them and getting upfield was so nice to see. It made me think like, man, I didn't take D. Williams for granted, but that guy was a weapon. He won us the Texas A&M game. He had a very, very, very major role in winning us a big game last year. And I say big game because it was close. We needed to win that one. And then lastly, the last thing I'll talk about before we dive into stuff is Jacoby Thomas on kickoff. And no one probably got to see it on TV because they're not going to highlight it.
Yeah.
But where Kyler and I were sitting, like I said, perfect spot for it in the kickoff. Jacoby Thomas runs down, flying down, and gets into it and is hitting a number 8 for Florida. I should have looked up what position he was. Let me just say this. He was definitely bigger than Jacoby, like size.
Linebacker, probably.
He looked like a linebacker tight end, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they go and they hit, and there's a little John or whatever. The next kickoff that comes out, whether it was after Tennessee kicked the field goal, after Arion Carter's pick, or after we scored, we see Jacoby Thomas come out. And this man is straight savagely like pointing at the guy, straight pointing him out like, I'm coming. Yeah. Don't like, I'm coming. You know it's me. Like, let's fucking go right now. And so the Florida guy's like, okay. Florida guy's like, okay, meet me right here. And Jacoby's like, I'm coming. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, and listen, I am not comparing myself to him. I'm not comparing myself to that moment. I'm not comparing myself to playing at the University of Tennessee. But I promise, being on kickoff basically my whole high school career and knowing how intense that can be, and it's mano-a-mano, and you're running full speed to blow someone up and to make a tackle, or you are – because I did both, or I'm on kick return and you got to get your depth and then bow up and hit somebody coming full speed. Or like when I was at the University of Memphis and was on scout team kickoff for all of our scrimmages and practice, and I was the wedge buster. And it was like there's another level that you have to go to mentally.
You gotta kind of be a psycho.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I've told the story before at Memphis, I went and I broke through the wedge, which was a backup linebacker and tight end. And I was like pumped about it, but it was the worst thing ever because when I did it, our tight ends coach and special teams coordinator lost his mind on those two. And he said, rerun it. Well, what do you think is going to happen when we rerun?
Yeah, they blew your ass up.
No, they didn't. They didn't blow me up, but I can promise you it hurt. They did not blow me up. I gave it everything I got. I did not get depleted, but it didn't feel good. So to see Jacoby go out there and do that, and you said, let's watch it, he took off. When that kickoff went, he ran as hard and as fast as he physically could, and he went down there and he blasted Buddy. He didn't decleat him or anything, but it was a hell of a collision. He definitely didn't get knocked back as the smaller guy. He ate it, and it was awesome to see. That is some high, I mean, that's dog shit. I mean, that is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what gets you fired up. That's the like Juwan Jennings dog kind of mentality that like people love in Juwan, and like that's why we love Jacoby. Like the way he plays football in games that we've seen him at safety, we've fallen in love with him because he comes with such aggression and he fucking hits people and he makes them feel it. And then he's just on kickoff, and people think special teams is just not as important. And, you know, don't put your good players out there. And he's on kickoff and he's like, I'm coming for you. Like, get ready for it. It's coming. I'm coming right down your fucking throat. And you just, I mean, that sets a mentality for the rest of the team. Like, I really hope Coach Eckler is pulling that up in film this week, being like, look at Jacoby right here. Look at Jacoby right here. He knows what he has. He knows this guy has a 40-pound weight difference on him. But what is he doing? He's taking the fight to him. He's not letting it come, which foreshadowing, there's a lot of times people were not taking the fight to people out there, which we will get into.
Yeah, I think that's put perfectly. Taking the fight to them and hitting somebody in the mouth, because you have to have people on the team that do it. And granted, he's a rotational guy. He's a half starter, half backup. But when he gets his moments, he is making the most of them.
Yep.
Like, I'll never forget the hit that he had against Oklahoma. And then when he gets in there, he doesn't care if it's 4th down and 1 or if it's a kickoff. Like, those are the people you have to have on our team, and those are the people that I want to play with. I mean, when I saw that, shit, they could have strapped me up, and I'm going out there and like, I mean, golly, I was juiced, bro. I was juiced. So anyways, those are all the random pieces that I just had that I thought about that I either want to shout out from the game or from rewatching. I'll be honest with you, since it was a Monday and I had a busy day with work and different stuff like that, I do still have some to be watching, but I'm going to be doing it while you're talking. But I'm good to go. You go ahead and start wherever you want to start, and I'll fill in.
Yeah, let's start on offense. Let me see. Here we go. Let's start on offense because I do have a little bit. I don't know. Offense to me is just a little special place. Obviously, I was an offensive player, so I have a little bit more pride when it comes to it. And sometimes I can talk a lot when we talk about offense more than defense. So I wanted to hit it first. But some of the things on offense, and I think Coach Heupel said it in his postgame, or maybe it was earlier in the day. I actually have a video of it, and I want to play it so everybody sees. I saw this on Twitter earlier, and it just made me. It really made me like rethink, you know, what the fans are thinking, because I think this shows and kind of demonstrates the frustration, because you can see it in him. You can see the frustration on his face, and when he's talking about executing when the opportunity arises.
Man, not tonight. I don't think we're far off, you know what I mean? But it's not just the pass game, it's the run game too. Like, you know, missed assignments, fundamentals, technique. Like, it's guys open, we don't hit it. Guys open and we're getting pressure. You know, I mean, it's everybody taking their turn. And some point we got to say, you know what I mean, we're going to man up and do our job and make this thing go the way that it's capable of.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Stand up, do your damn job, and do what you're supposed to do when you're out there. Take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you. He's saying, guys missing blocks, guys are open, dropping balls. He is as frustrated as you guys out there. Now, it's up to him to make sure that it happens. He's the head coach. He's taking responsibility on that. But I would be frustrated too. Like, I see some of this play, and I just know that there's really good that can happen. And we talk about expectations all the time. So it just really annoys me when I see, Nico miss a guy or Lance just get beat on pass pro, or, not taking the fight to the defender, Cooper getting swam. Like, it just, those kinds of things drive me up a wall, because it's like, I know that you guys are capable of doing better than that. So,
Can I say one thing real quick? I want to say this one thing real quick. I'm happy that you pulled that up, and it was something that I was going to make a point of. That as fans, it's always trying to pinpoint maybe one or two things. So Arkansas game, it was like play calling, and then you got it's Nico's fault. Then you got your other people who are like, well, no, it's not Nico's fault. He doesn't have any time, or receivers aren't getting open. And now watching multiple things, I truly think it's just a little bit of everything, which is probably not I would probably rather have just a little bit of everything messing up than like one massive issue, because if there's one glowing issue, it might be a little bit more difficult to fix, especially in season. But it really is. And I wasn't yelling this during the game because the players are going to hear me. I mean, hell, they can't. The guy 2 rows in front of me can't hear me because of how loud it is. But we're on offense, I would just yell, I'd be like, one play at a time. We don't have to get it back in one chunk or one play at a time. You don't have to do anything special except do your job and execute, because it really is multiple people doing different things.
No, I mean, you're right.
And sorry, last thing. And we'll talk about Nico, but the quarterback position can make those things go away when they raise the level. And we got really spoiled by that with Hendon in his second year. And you see it with all the greats in the NFL, like when those guys are good, it doesn't matter if the protection might not be the best or their guy might not be completely wide open. It's like, well, they can maneuver in the pocket, they can get out, they can throw a ball so good that it doesn't matter how good the coverage is. It's that one position is the position that kind of elevate everything else. And so maybe
that's the most important. It's why they get paid the most. It's why it's always the first, pick overall. It is the most important position and can make the biggest difference on the team. I would say the guy right now that embodies what you're saying, that's on offense, that can make things right when they're not, is Dylan Sampson. He's a guy on offense that I am like, there's shit going awry, and he's still like, all right, I'll figure this out. Like, I'll get out of this somehow. I will make this right, even though it's wrong, even though it's set up wrong. So I just absolutely love Dylan because of that. Let's see. How do we want to go through this? We can go straight through the offense. First drive is looking good, right? We're moving down the field. We're completing passes. We'll play action to start. 12 yards to squirrel. There's some runs that aren't great, but, one of them is a counter, and the backside defensive end makes the tackle. And it's like, well, that's nobody's blocking fault, and that's not the running back's fault. That's one guy's fault, and that's the quarterback. He is supposed to read that backside defensive end, and he pulls it if he squeezes. That's part of the offense.
Yeah.
Nico doesn't do that, then that guy is now a free defender to make the tackle. I think that play in and of itself affected Nico's decision on the last play of the drive where he fumbles.
So I'm glad you bring that up because I noticed something. First off, in that play specifically, that can never happen. You can never have a backside end or linebacker making that play. That's an RPO for sure because Squirrel was looking at him. Squirrel was open. So Nico can either hand it, pull it and run it, or pull it and throw it, and he should have. So those aren't the ones that people see that he maybe made the wrong decision. You may not notice that if you just think it was just a handoff and someone didn't block. I will say that later in the game, that same player is the edge player, and I don't know if Nico did a better job of faking or giving it late or giving it and then taking a bigger step out because he does hold number 44. And we do get, a couple yards, but I'm glad you brought that up. And the only other thing I have to say about the first play, I love the first play. Kyler, there was nothing more I could have loved about the first play of the game unless it happened to be in a touchdown. But people want to talk about, we just run it. We're conservative. We're this, that, and the other. He play actions.
Mm-hmm.
He hits a nice chunk. It's not just some 2 or 3 yard chunk, but it's a good conservative deep chunk. It gets Nico in rhythm to give him a nice throwable and catchable pass. But he got him out of the pocket too, which is, hey, instead of doing play action, leaving him in the pocket, maybe something collapses and then we're starting the game with a sack. No, get him out. I could not have loved that play call anymore.
Yeah. Confidence builder in everybody. I mean, it's just, yes, it is what you want. Let's see. On this drive, there's 2 plays that I see Lance really not taking the fight to the defender when he is one-on-one with the guy. One, he just misses the front side 4-eye, and the other one, he just kind of lets him get off the block. 94 was kind of eating on Lance. And it's very frustrating to me because when I watch, I'm just like, I know that you can do better than that. I've seen you do better than that. I've actually seen you do better than that in this game. I've seen you do better than that. And it's like, you're not firing off like you want it. You are not firing off like this depends on you. And it does. You are making plays fail by not doing your job. And I don't know if people are taking that serious enough. Like, I don't know if that's going through their head enough where it's like, hey, if I don't take off on this play and get my hands inside and get my head across and fight and use strength and use my technique and maybe use some smarts because this guy has long arms and he wants to stab, maybe I knock his arm down so that way I can get inside of his chest. Because I used to do that. I don't have long arms. I had to fight against guys who did. So what did I do? I was patient with my hands. I didn't punch them right away. I punched them at the exact moment I needed to. And if guys were trying to stab, I waited for them to reach that arm out and I batted it away. I played like a defender almost and batting their strong arms away and getting inside their chest. So it's like, let's play with more technique, with more gumption, and maybe these runs will actually work. And there's not guys getting tackled in the backfield. There's a play later on that Cooper gets swam, Lance and Carrick missed the double team, and Dante Thornton misses the corner, and Dylan Sampson's over there trying to avoid 3 open defenders that aren't blocked by anybody. And it's like, yeah, that's going to put you behind the fucking sticks. Yeah, that's going to make things a lot more difficult. And if you have one incomplete pass, the drive can end because 4 guys didn't do their freaking job on the play and let their dude out to dry. I mean, if I'm Dylan Sampson, I'm putting it on film like, what the fuck is this? I'm pissed. Like, are you kidding me? And I know I'm going to get a text from my family about all the cussing, but it pisses me off. I can't take it.
I can't take it anymore.
I can't take it anymore. Oh, but so first drive, we're looking good. Mesh point, Nico fumbles. Okay.
I truly
Sucks.
I truly do think the way things were going, we go down,
I
get
think if we
set,
score, it feels a lot different.
just one score feels a lot
Ford
different. Whether
is freaking out.
three makes me feel okay, but you go down and get 7 the way we were moving the ball, and I feel way different about this game.
Oh yeah. So on the next drive, this is the drive you were talking about with the run on 3rd and 15. So we have a good run play on the first, then we have good pass pro, and
Thank you for saying
Nico rolls out and they call holding on John Campbell, which I think this one is very ticky-tack.
Okay, you thought the same thing. Did you see my tweet?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw your tweet. So there was one on Campbell and one on Lance that I thought were both very ticky-tack. One towards the end of the game on Campbell is Campbell's fault. He is holding. He has his arm around the guy's back. So they're going to call that. But on this drive, Campbell gets the holding. We're backed up. And Lance gets beat across his face on the backside of counter. He gets beat across his face. He is supposed to cut off the backside. And the defender literally just screams right across his face, makes a tackle in the backfield.
I have a question about that play. I have a legit question, Kyler. Yeah. I watched that multiple times. I feel like it looks for me as good and as big and as athletic and the prospect and player that Lance is supposed to be. I feel like that's pretty damn difficult because that I guess what is that, the 3-eye? That absolutely 4-eye just absolutely, you can tell from the jump he is slanting inside because he goes really hard that way. And it kind of just happens that Andre Carrick is pulling. You've had to do it, but I feel like that's really difficult to be done by Lance when that guy's already going that way. I don't know. I know Carrick or Andre Carrick doesn't have time to get a one stab because he's got to get his ass out and go. But it just looks like that's very difficult, a difficult block.
It is a difficult block. It definitely is. It very much is a difficult block. You have a guy who is faster than you that is further inside than you are. But I don't care. I don't care, right? Like I know it's difficult. I had to do it, okay? But you got to figure out a fucking way. You got to get off the ball. Like, it did not look like he got off the ball. You got to have a good first step. Didn't look like he had a good first step. You got to set yourself up for success on the play. What does that mean? Does that mean maybe backing up a little bit? Does that mean maybe scooting your stance in a little bit, get a little closer to Carrick? Does that mean maybe you cut him instead of trying to block him up top? Maybe, but you got to figure that out. No one else is going to figure that out for you.
You think it's one of those that he could have gotten almost like an easy pancake on? Because if you're going to down block or cut him off and he's going that way, just get on his side and ride him down to the ground.
Yes, I've also seen tackles before, and I've actually done it in a game where I'm backside and I'm trying to cut someone off, and they're fighting across my face, and they have the leverage on me. And instead of, hey, I can't get across his face, what did I do? I literally went like this with my hand and just pushed his hip and just made him go upfield, right? They're not going to see that. They're not going to call that. He goes upfield. Running back's going, the other direction. You get by. You just have to figure out a way, dude. And this happened too much to where I'm like, you're not getting off the ball. You're not going after the defender. You're not taking the fight to them. It's almost reaction, in like position blocking and not really like moving the dude off the ball where that's what we need. So it's like, yeah, it is tough, but figure it out. Like Cooper had to one-on-one block a freaking 370-pound nose tackle on plays. Yeah, it's tough, but he figures it out. Like he's a lighter center, regardless, and he still figured it out. So it's just that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna get pissed with it. Like I expect more out of the tackles, especially, and I think everybody understands that sentiment. I really do.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I just because I saw that and I wanted to ask.
So let's keep going. Next drive, we got the jet sweep to Brew with a possible shovel to Dylan underneath. I thought it was a great play design. I loved the sweep to Brew. I love getting Brew the ball in a different way because he's an athlete. And then I love just like, hey, if you guys don't, or if you guys take the sweep, we've got Dylan and a counter going on underneath, and I can shovel it to him. So it's just like those are the kind of things you see it as an offensive guy, and you're like, ooh, that can be dangerous.
I like it too.
Take advantage of the defense.
I like it for multiple reasons, but I really do like it that you get one of your better offensive players in the scheme early. You don't have to worry about throwing him the ball; just give it to him and let him try to do something. And it was it didn't go for a home run, but it still went for 6, and it was still a good play. And you get him in the game and show the Florida defense something else.
Yeah. Then a few plays later, the dig to Brazel, great catch, just fantastic catch by him. And that's one of those times where it's like, you got to make a play.
Yeah.
We're giving you an opportunity. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Yeah, you're going to get hit by the safety, but guess what? You got to come up with a ball.
Yeah, and he made the play, and he made the catch right before that too. So they went to him back-to-back times because I think the play before that was a little out route or hitch route to him.
Yeah. And then this is the drive where we have 3 sacks in a row. So the first one I think is coverage sack.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the first one I think is a little bit of a coverage sack. I thought pass pro was long enough, and Nico kind of got a little spooked and got his eyes down, where if he keeps his eyes up, he might be able to find somebody. And man, I think back to games.
Is that not is that 2nd and 7? Is that not the one where John had the holding that we just thought was ticky tack? That is that play.
No, this is the next. This is later in that drive. You're thinking about the Lance holding this ticky tack, and later in the drive, we've got like 3 sacks in a row after a hit.
Oh, I see it. So okay, yeah. I thought. I like that we went tempo, we hit squirrel, and on the other one, so we got 2 back-to-back first downs. I wrote happy feet. I thought he had some time, and I thought that he had miles at least for the jump off. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go crazy and say that he could have gotten Chris, but I think at some point he could have if he kept his eyes because Chris was sitting there in the zone. Miles was the dump off.
Yeah.
The 2nd and 15, Kyler, my opinion, I think he has enough time again.
Lance gets beat inside with a strong arm, which is just like, I mean, so far, Lance has had 15 plays and 10 of them have not been great. So I'm like, you need to step it up, bud. Like your ratio right now is not good. So he gets kind of beat inside. I thought he did have a okay amount of time, but that's still like, hey, you feel that pressure coming. So sack there. And then
I think we both can be right. I think that might be a little bit of time, but I think, and I'm 1,000% not out on Nico, not even close. I'm totally riding with him the whole season. Let it see what happens, all that. But I'm saying the Hendon Hooker conversation I made earlier, that's still plenty enough time for me, in my opinion, for a good quarterback to make a play. This next one, 3rd and 26. It's after. I think this is after the quarter end. I do not know what in the Jackson Lampley is now in at right guard for whatever reason, and Dane Davis is at right tackle. Dane plays it well. Jackson Lampley got absolutely murked on the twist. Was it his fault?
Yes. So as the twist goes, you had a picker and a looper, and the picker was in front of Jackson, and he picked Cooper and took literally all 3 of them out, and then the looper came around and was just wide open to get to Nico. So that is on Jackson. He is supposed to pass that off to Coop. They're on different levels, and he doesn't realize that it's a game until it's too late. And it's just like, guys, it's 3rd and long, and they're not blitzing. So what do you think they're going to do to cause pressure?
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah.
So get ready for them.
Do you think that was like, all right, it's 3rd? I mean, I don't know. I guess, hell, Javonte could have had something going on with his helmet and they had to pull him, but maybe they wanted to get Javontes and John Campbell out, get these other 2 guys in, how they rotate. I don't know. I just thought it was weird that I just look up and it's those 2 guys at right guard and right tackle, because to my knowledge, they weren't playing when the possessions or when the drive started.
No. And yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, from day one, when they were rotating offensive linemen throughout games, I was like, I'm not sure what's going on here, because I'm pretty sure I know who's better and who can handle it more. So I don't know why they rotate guys. I really hope it has nothing to do with like conditioning or like, hey, we want to give them rest or whatever. Get over it. What rest? Like, no. Sorry, you're going to be tired. Do more conditioning in the off season. I don't feel bad for you. I played an up-tempo offense that was faster than yours. It was faster than that one. Okay? We ran way more up-tempo than they're running this year. So they should not be tired. All right? I had 111 plays versus South Carolina in my freaking junior year. 111. All right? And I don't play both ways. That's how many plays we had. So it's like, get over it. Get your conditioning under control and freaking stay in the game. Have pride in the fact that you want to stay in the game and help your damn team. But it might just be a coaching decision. I don't know that. So I don't want to get too fired up. But yeah, game is on Lampley, and that's where the sack came from. So next drive, this is the rollout with the throwback to Squirrel down the middle of the field, and he misses reaching out for it. Squirrel looked like he had a shoulder issue the entire game. I don't know if that had anything to do with him missing that ball. But, I saw someone post the Mel Keaton catch versus Florida 2 years ago, and it was like, this ball is more overthrown than both the ball to Squirrel and the ball to Nimrod. And I'm like, yeah, it was. And he just went out there and fucking got it. And it's like, that's the difference. Like, he went and got it, but that's not to say that like Squirrel is a bad player. People forget like his catch versus Alabama at Alabama last year for a touchdown. That was a fantastic catch literally over his head, catching it and getting his feet in bounds. Like, Squirrel's a good player, so it's just about coming up with it. It's just about making the plays when they present themselves. I'm
not going to get into which one was more overthrown, which one wasn't. You have your opinion. The guy who tweeted has his opinion. I'd have to go back and really look at him again. But you said it. One guy made the play. For whatever reason, we didn't connect on the other one. And everyone knows it's watching this and watching football and watch Tennessee, you got to make plays.
Yeah.
And whether that's Nico, Squirrel, the man on the moon, whoever.
Exactly. And then later in this drive, we got a backside defensive end making a tackle on a zone read again. So I'm just like, what are we doing here? And then this is also the one where Nimrod he has beaten both defenders. He is running down the sideline, and Nico just misses him. Like, he leads him way too close to the sideline, over kind of throws and almost throws out of bounds. And I'm like, where is it? What? Like, where did that come from? Like, that's not what I expect out of Nico. That's not what I've seen from him, where that would be something he would do. So just very like odd. I don't know what that is. Right? Like, when you go to the meeting and you're like, Nico, what happened here? Like, what is he going to fucking say?
Yeah.
I misjudged the throw. Like, what do you mean you misjudged the throw? You overthrew him by 10 yards.
I just laugh. Because selfishly, we're sitting there right there, and I see Chaz is open, like he beat him, and I said, he's there, he's got him, and he throws it, and all I'm thinking in my head is that take, which I don't consider them takes, but that opinion I had about Chaz coming up and some big time play this year and making big time, I was like, this is it, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah, and then he drops one later. Way to go, Reed.
I know.
Yeah, so misses him there. Let's see. Next drive, Deshaun gets in. He's got some hard runs. Bounces on a counter, does pretty good. Let's see. On third down, Spraggs is literally high out of his stance. He collects the defender into his chest, gets pushed back 3 yards, hits Deshaun, and Deshaun trips before he can get a first down, and it's fourth down. And that is all on Spraggs. So when you ask, why is Jackson Lampley in the game? Maybe that's why. I don't know. Because Buddy's going to bear hug a defender when he's trying to blow him off the ball. He's got his chest open. He's standing straight up. And the guy pushes him 3 yards back. It looked like our D-line out there pushing the O-line back. And I'm like, what is this? I've seen you play better than this. What the hell are we doing? So that causes the fourth down. But we bring in the big boys. We bring in the extra blockers. We say, hey, we got to make a damn play. Heupel says, I have to get a first down here. This is what just has to happen. So bring in the big boys. We run it on fourth down, a pin and pull on the front side, which I actually really liked. And you follow your lead blockers, and you can get there. And every single time we were in that formation, we were getting positive yardage.
Are you talking about the 4th and 1, like on our own, like 3-inch line?
Let's see. Was that before half?
Yeah.
Or after half? I think it was before half. So yeah,
by the way,
this was it.
Yeah. So couple things. First off, I'm rewatching right now. Like I said, I freaking love the play design. Then I told you this in the stadium. The play design on the shot to squirrel was a thing of beauty. It was like it was almost a throwback, like the tight end throwback that I love. The roll left, way throw it back right. I like that. This was just a different spin on it of the deep shot. And I just think it's a thing of beauty. You get him rolling out. You get a lot of eye dressing and eye candy to the DBs and the linebackers. You get everybody flowing. And, I mean, he's got the motion in. He's got Dylan going out really quick to the flats. So it looks like one of those typical Heupel, all right, we're going to bring Dylan out. We got the tight end out. Let me roll him out, dump it. Mm-hmm. You get everybody looking. And Squirrel does a great job. He's starting pretty wide. And he stems that bad boy all the way in and then cuts up. And what some people don't know, and I don't know if you know this, but if you're a backside receiver, and sometimes Heupel will just let him run off and do nothing, but if he wants you to get to the next safety, you have to stem way in like that. So his guy, if he was in man coverage, could think, oh, he's running way inside here because he's just going to try to cut me off, or he's trying to get up to the safety to cut him off so that they, block it down. So it's almost like you got to be reading your keys because he's not coming to block you. He's going to take the house off. Exactly. Now the second thing is on this 4th and down, I can't believe I said this, but I'm sitting in there and I looked at you and I was like, I said, go for it. Like I said it.
Yeah,
I was
we're on like the 13-yard line.
And I was like, this is insane. And I was like, this is insane. But I was like, go for it. Like, get the yard. If you needed a spark, you needed something. The defense had been out there. And I just had faith that we would get it. I will say this. Later in the game, I was bummed when we kicked the field goal to tie it, to go 10-10, and I understand why he did it, and it was a smart play. I just wanted all that momentum after the Arion Carter pick, and I felt like if the scoreboard read 14-10 instead of 10-10. That changed how Florida played, but they kicked it. It went in great. So I was wrong on that one. And then there was the one on the punt right in front of us towards the end of the game. And it was maybe like a 4th and 4, whatever. And I said, go for it. And then I was like, no. This is the smart play. Punt it down there, play field position. And then we ended up stopping them. That's when we scored on the big counter.
Yeah.
But so
the only thing I didn't like on the interception after Arion's interception was not taking a shot on first down.
And you did say that to me.
That's what I want. After a turnover and you're in good field position, take a shot immediately.
It doesn't really even have to be a shot because we're like at the 25-yard line.
No, that's not that big of a shot.
That's what I'm saying.
Go towards the end zone. Give me something. Give me that.
First play of the game.
With the shovel. First play of the game.
Play the game.
Yeah. Give me that. Give me another one of those little crossing patterns to score. Like, give me something that it's like defense is like, wait, whoa. Yeah. Because they're coming out there unprepared. They're not ready to be on defense.
You run a little play action, go out, and you have Chris do that, come back again. You bring Miles underneath and squirrel over top and have all that action going that way. Yeah, I'm fine with that. By the way, you guys are right. That is more catchable than Mermel Keaton's was. Sorry.
Yes, it is. And then this is where this drive ends with Nico throwing the interception. Just did not see the defender sitting in his zone the entire time. Didn't move. Defender didn't move. He was just sitting there waiting for it. So just kind of shocking to see from Nico. But
you didn't talk about this. I'm surprised you didn't talk about the 2nd and 10 after the shot to squirrel. The read option with the lead block by Miles. Ooh, that was spicy. Got us a nice little 10 yards. And you said it in the game. When it happened, you're like, that's what I've been needing. That's what I've been wanting. Everyone around us said, that's what we've been wanting, the quarterback run. And Miles did a great job coming in motion. That end comes up. Instead of blocking that end, he dips that shoulder, gets around to him to get to the nickel. We need that. We need that quarterback run game.
Yeah, I really want to see more of the quarterback run stuff. All right. Let's start rolling through this offense because we got to get to defense too. Next drive. I'm wondering if I want to touch on anything. Squirrel has to make a block on the running back screen into the flats. He misses that. This is a Dylan Sampson drive, honestly. Dylan competed his ass off to try and make up for other people's mistakes. Like I said, it's the next one after that. But we start off with a rollout complete to Nimrod on the first. It's the exact same as the first play of the game. We start this drive. This is our first touchdown drive in the second half in the third quarter. So we start off the drive with repeating the first play of the game, get it to Nimrod. We run, still get a first. We miss a double team, but we still get a first. Another rollout. Nico is rolling opposite way. So he's rolling left, and he gets his shoulders around before he throws the ball. People were like, oh, brew. But he wanted to get his shoulders around and be able to complete a pass to Brazel, which was a good one coming across. So he completes that. Kind of misses stays in the flat. He kind of throws it behind him. Dylan runs a power play, spins off a guy for extra yardage. Campbell slow off the ball and lets the defender in the backfield. Dylan jumps around him. So it's like, here's all these plays where Dylan's like, all right, I gotta make something happen when guys are missing. We got another, we're missing front side backers. The swing pass to Dylan out in the flat. He makes that first guy miss.
Thank gosh.
I mean, thank God, right? He made that happen. He made it to where we could score a touchdown. Like, Dylan is literally putting the team on his back.
That goes, if it's not for him, that goes for like a gain of no yards, momentum in their favor too. We basically score a tutty.
Dylan trips on the exchange. It causes a 4th and 1. So we get into the big formation. Dylan just follows those lead blockers into the end zone, and wanted to shout out big old Nathan Robinson. Didn't think I'd be saying his name this week, but he's at tight end and does a fantastic job with his down block and holding his man and leaving a huge hole for those 2 fullbacks. We'll call them fullbacks because that's where they're at. Run through there and open it up for Dylan, and we score our first touchdown, which was just absolutely massive. Let's see. A couple plays later, Deshaun misses a blitzer. Nico misses across the middle on that. So we end up punting. Then this one is the first pass. The next drive is the first pass gets deflected before it goes to Dylan. Like he's a little dump off. He doesn't get going. And then I said on 3rd down, they literally ran a zero blitz. And Nico runs outside of the pocket, tries to get what he can, but he can't get a first down. And in those scenarios, it's kind of like you can see it coming. You can kind of see that zero blitz coming and them creeping up. And you got to go, hey, my guys are in man coverage. What route are they running? Right? Because they're probably going to be open. I'm going to give it to my guys instead of kind of freaking out and running out of there.
Let me say something real quick on that. I tweeted out that one of the first big throws that we had to Chris Brazzell, I think it was the one he got blasted. Florida, it's a big 3rd down. They're going to do exactly what Arkansas had success with. They're showing the 2 A-gap muggers.
Yeah.
They don't come. They show there. They don't come. The nickel comes, but the offensive line and everybody picks it up perfectly. Nico has a chance, fits it in. Well, on the 3rd and 15, where everyone got mad about Heupel running, they showed the exact same thing again, and this time they both blitzed. And so that's one of those that hindsight is 20/20, because if that happens and you know that you got 2 receivers over here, Squirrel's the guy on the inside, that guy's giving Squirrel probably 8 or 9 yards of cushion as man coverage. If you know that they're coming, to your point, he could potentially check out of that and say, I have a slant route that I can get the ball to Squirrel's hand. There's a world where that gets picked up, but he's not to that level yet, and I don't mind that he's not to that level yet, because if he does that on our goal line, it better be dead nuts that he's right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Next drive, big punt return by Jermod that you already mentioned. Little squirrel bubble outside, and then this is the counter play where Campbell and Kitzelman pick up the blitzing guys on the front side. They wash them down. The pullers work around up to their spots. They get to their guys. Lance continues all the way up to the safety, and Dylan just has a free run for a touchdown, and it's absolutely beautiful. And that's how you run the football. I freaking love to see it. Next drive, we do another version of the rollout backside middle, try and throw and go to Chaz, and he misses it. People wanted a PI. Looks like he kind of got tripped up. But I mean, it was there, you know, it was close. We knew another play action rollout. Nico throws it to Chaz on a little out route, and he misses him. Okay. And then we try and run the ball on 3rd, I think. It looks like I put down a power, and Campbell gets too much depth on the pool. Yeah, so he misses the defender.
That was the one.
You know what? Yeah.
That's the one where, and I appreciate and love the shot. We have a chance there to go up. That I think at that point we were up 17-10. So if we complete that and go down and can score a touchdown, it's 24-10. So I love that. Hey, guys, there's Heupel's aggressiveness, him not sitting on leads. He does a play action deep shot. It's not completed. Then we throw it 2 more times, and that's when you start yelling, hey, everyone, you wanted all your passing your deep shots. We just got them. And we got on. We were on and off. We were 3 and out just like that.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody wants to throw the ball. And then end of the game and plays in that, Chaz drops that one over the middle. He's run that post pattern, which it's there. The next play where there's like two receivers in the same spot, like I don't think Chaz knew what the play was. You can see him before, like kind of looking over the sideline, like what's going on. And then you know what? I think Florida got so tight in overtime. They go 8-man box, 8-man box, 9-man box, 9-man box. 4 plays we had in overtime. They loaded the box on every single play. And we did a play action to the flat to stays on the first one. So took advantage of the 8-man box. We got an 8-man box. The nose literally tries to jump to where he thinks the ball is going to go and almost swims out of the gap. And it's a 9-yard run up the middle. We got a 9-man box. They're all sitting in there, and Dante's in man coverage, and they throw a hitch to him, and he picks up 11 or 12. Then we got another 9-man box. We literally just go hat on a hat, and Dylan scores on this play with a lot of fight, but they say that he's down before, he gets there. And then we bring in the big boys, Lance and Carrick on the front side in a double team off the line, move their man, and fullbacks follow, and Dylan follows, and it is a touchdown. Just a fantastic finish to the ball game, and a way to just fight back, because it can be very demoralizing when the team scores to go into overtime. They have all the momentum, but we were able to take advantage on defense and then take advantage on offense after that.
Last thing I got for offense is I understand to why Florida did that, and I would have done the exact same thing. I'm saying make Nico throw it, make these receivers catch it, and make them pass pro. So I totally get what Florida did. I would have done the same thing. I told you the whole time I was just really, really nervous that he was going to go for 2, because I get nervous when one play dictates the whole game, even though I really, really, really trust our defense in situations like that. They have been really good all year on fourth downs, on goal line, 3rd and short. Like, I really, really trust them.
Yeah, I agree. So a little bit of a change. On to the next day, actually. So last night, as we were recording, we started going way over. Shocker. Started getting a little late in the night. So we put a pause on it, and now we are back the next day, and we are going to talk defense. We did this because we wanted to actually spend a good amount of time on defense, not just rush through it, and at least, give them their kudos that they deserve. So yeah, we're back. We're back. We're ready to hop into defense. I got your back on this for defense because I really believed, and I believe this season our defense has been, hey, offense, I know you're struggling. I know some things might be going on, but guess what? I got your back. I'm going to have your back. When you turn it over in the red zone, I'm going to stop them and not let them score. When you have a horrible 3 and out, I'm going to get them to punt and do another 3 and out and get the ball back to you in a better spot. So this defense has done it all year. Obviously not with the first games because we were scoring like crazy, but they have stood up when they needed to. So yes, I wanted to be able to give kudos to the defense. So we are recording again on a different day. This podcast will probably be over 2 hours total again, but that's fine. I mean, the fans love it. So here we are.
Yeah, I looked the exact same because last night I had just worked out and eaten dinner. So then I showered and put my comfy hoodie on, which is your old hoodie. And today I've woke up, been working this morning, hit my lunchtime walk, showered, and put your comfy hoodie back on. So I pretty much look the exact same. Now I didn't. I was happy to stop and redo it because I watched more tape, got to go over more stuff. I know we're not going back into offense, and I really tried to let you cook and talk fast last night to get through offense. I'm not going to dive back into a bunch more, but I just want to say one thing because I know you mentioned it. I didn't get to mention it, and you've already talked about how awesome Dylan Sampson was and has been, and really everything offensively is running through him, and the guy is breaking tackles left and right, making up for mistakes that other people make. But I want to give a shout out on Deshaun Bishop and how hard he ran when we were backed up, when we got the strip sack.
Yep.
And how hard. And I love to see that Heupel went under center. I was going to be very nervous to see us in shotgun. So I was happy that he went under center on the 4th and 1. I know when we were in the end zone, where I'm talking about Deshaun Bishop, he was in shotgun, and we had the actual two tight ends, not Jackson Moa and Nathan Robinson. But I love that formation where it's like the two tight ends to one side out of shotgun. And then obviously I love, like the big boy, the heavy one under center. But just a quick shout out because Deshaun's efforts to get out of the end zone, to get positive yards, to get us breathing room, to get us up for a chance, to get the 4th and 1 was extremely impressive. And those are the individual efforts that you have to have. And then, like I said, I love that Heupel went under center because I don't want that to get glossed over because there was plenty of times in his previous 3 years that it'd be 4th and 1, and sometimes we'd get him, sometimes we wouldn't, but he wasn't under center.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And I just think now going under center, at some point we're going to see the big 6'6" quarterback with a quarterback sneak, and it's just like, don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. I don't want a shotgun snap and a handoff. Get under center, turn around, hand that thing off, and go. So I just want to give that one more shout out on offense.
His first couple of years, we talked about it multiple times. It was just like short yardage. What plays do we have? Can we not have different formations? Do we have to go out of shotgun? Let's practice some under center. And here we are.
And he did some under center stuff with Princeton Fant. Princeton Fant's senior year, which we love to see.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm with you on Deshaun. Shout out to him. And for all those people, I now that I've slept on it and it's been another day, I don't want people to think my rant last night on the offense and on Lance Hurd and any of that kind of stuff was like, hey, bench this dude. He's not a good left tackle. It was more of like, I know he's good, and it frustrates me to see him do bad things. So I don't want anybody being like, hey, Kyler Kerberson said that Lance Hurd sucks and we needed another tackle. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he played bad, and I expect more out of him. All right. Let's jump into defense so we can give them their flowers. We'll start on the first drive. They start the game for us. Offense starts the game for us. Sorry. They come in. The first thing that I notice about the defense is there's the Florida Gators offense. They are doing everything they possibly can to try and confuse the defense, get them off of their spots, and just anything possible to slow them down because this defense is so good. So they're motioning multiple guys over at the same time. They're not getting lined up. They're waiting for the defense to get out there. Then they're moving. So these shifts were causing confusion in alignment, in assignment on the defensive side of the ball, I think consistently throughout the night. I think they slowed down with their shifts and with their movements once Graham Mertz got hurt and their number one running back got hurt. They started to kind of vanilla it out a little bit more. So it wasn't as much. But this was something that I see and I go, guess what? Every team that plays us moving forward is going to do this.
I was pretty impressed with them offensively on how they kept the game in front of them, played to their strengths. As you mentioned, not only pre-snap motion, but a lot of pre-snap shifts, which we don't do. We do some shifting. We do a decent amount of motion, but I mean they would overhaul it, and there was the touchdown that we'll talk about. They scored on the motion is one of the reasons I think they scored. It was a well-designed play, but and I thought Graham Mertz did a good job. I thought the other quarterback played pretty well. I mean, the pick was a great play by Arion Carter, but also not a great decision. And don't get it twisted. Our defense is really good, as we all know. And so that when I see an offense having to do what they need to do to move the ball and run the ball pretty well. And I'll say this, in the stadium, I was a little worried and felt – I knew the defense played well and definitely well enough to win the game. But in the stadium, I thought there was some more gashes here and there. But, of course, when you go back, watch the tape, see some stuff, it just felt like in the stadium that they were really using our aggressiveness against us, whether that's the quick passing, but realistically, like, hey, here comes Brian Eason way upfield. And instead of blowing the play up, they just take him to where he wants to go and seal it off. And there was some plays that they did stuff like that to different players. Was using Bryson Eason as an example. He played a great game. But when you go back and watch it, this defense still did what they usually do. To start off defensively, not bad coverage, just good route, throw, and catch. Then the next one, it was zone. AC really got his depth quickly, which usually I'm not going to be upset about, but, they just brought it right under him. But no big deal. I mean, this is their scripted plays. Then you got a great push by Amari, Bryson, Joshua, and Tyree.
Joshua absolutely demolishes the tight end on the backside. Just pushes him into the freaking dirt.
I have 2nd and 11 here, and then I have no back with a star next to it. I love when not just them, but any team goes no back. If my team is playing defense or if I was on defense, I'm going to be honest. Even if I'm playing damn NCAA and no one has a back, I am so happy because they're telling you that it's not.
Five-man protection.
It's 5-man protection, and it's about an 85% chance of a throw. Especially depending on what kind of quarterback it is. You might get a quarterback draw every now and again. But I just feel like it frees our rushers up so much. So that's why I started. And I told you in the game, I said, bro, I feel so good when they go no back. And then Tyree on tight end with the twist and just bullied him. The center force, Graham Mertz out. And then 3rd and 11, something that we talked about, and I think you noticed it in the game, but 3rd and 11, and this is the first time that they had JP. I'm not saying the first time ever. I'm not saying the first time ever because I think he's done it 1 or 2 times, but James Pierce is over the center, and which I love to see that. I think that's a great wrinkle. I think it's something that we should see a lot this week, even if he doesn't blitz, but just to spy Milroe. But then we made the tackle, and unfortunately, this is where Keenan Peely got injured. But here's
the thing I'll say about the play before the 3rd down. So with the games and the pressure up the middle causing Graham to roll out, and then JP over the center, and having him as your best rusher go on the center, who's probably not your best pass pro guy, which is typical. Your tackles are typically your best in pass pro, most athletic guys. It gives you the advantage. JP does just a straight bull rush on the center and pressure up in his face,
walks him back
up in the middle, and he has to get rid of the ball. I want to see this from James Pierce versus Alabama a good amount. Like, if it is a passing down, I want to see JP over the center or a twist to get JP in the middle. Reason being, you're not going to affect Jalen Milroe with blitzes on the outside.
I disagree.
the effect comes. It is up the middle in his face. That's where you need the pressure on Jalen Milroe, because you do not want him stepping up and running. That's the scariest thing. That is the scariest part about him, is stepping up in the pocket and taking off, maybe even stepping up in the pocket and being able to complete a pass down the field. Pressure on the outside, that's okay for him. He can spin out of somebody. He can step up in the pocket. He can move around in the pocket. He can take off downfield. Pressure in his face coming up into him, he will freak out first. It's more of a, oh no, I don't have time kind of feeling. And if he doesn't freak out, he rolls out one way or the other, and now the field is cut in half. If he's able to step up in the pocket, run forward, the field is still wide open.
Okay, I was completely going to disagree. That
I'm not saying like you can't get to him from the outside. I'm saying it's better to have the pressure up the middle.
No, I was just going to disagree because I felt like if James is in the middle and they double him with a center and guard, and then Milroe is out on one of the boundaries, and I'm like, well, we just took James Pierce out of the play a little bit, but maybe I need to give him more credit to be able to get over top. I felt like if you have James coming off of a backside, then maybe Milroe won't see him, or you can bottle him up to where he's on one side and you only have half the field. But I get what you were saying. If you want him to see it, I was totally going to disagree until you said, I don't want Milroe stepping up and taking off. And you're probably right, because I've been nervous thinking about him just getting outside, not having outside contain. But you're right. There's nothing more dangerous than if he can just take it up the middle, get a ton of yards that way, and then it really presses our safeties and linebackers. Do I come up and get him? Do I stay locked on? So I get that. I'll agree with you there. When we're talking about it out loud, whether it's up the middle or right or left, this guy's just really good. You're going to have to do a really good job of containing him no matter which way he goes. So if he went right, if he went left, if he went middle, you're just going to have to be really good you're going to have to be really good in your rush lanes. You're going to have to be really good with your outside contain and really good with your pursuit, because he's just a good football player on the ground running the ball. I mean, we'll get to it, but we'll get to it when we talk about Vols versus Bama. But anyways, I'm fine with it. I'm good with that.
So I like that formation with JP over the center. I like getting him into the inside. Later on in the game, he does twist inside and misses a sack. Boo comes and cleans it up, but still, I like that. I like him being over the middle.
Continuing on defense, I have Elijah, LOL. We get one or two a game of him just body bagging and walking people back. Amari and T-Lander, great work. Good pressure here by Boo, Caleb, Omari. And then I thought Jamad had, good coverage. 3rd and 3, another James Pierce over the center. He and Omari trip over each other.
Omar. I think it was Omar that was in there.
Yeah, Omar Norman Lott. What did I say, Omari?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Omar Norman Lott, and he tries to hit him with a spin, and the when he spins, the guard just kind of pushes him there. He trips James Pierce, and it was a nice play by Mertz. I mean, he got to have better rush lanes, but he got up and got
Which I wonder if there is just kind of a what their coaching point is with that. Hey, you freelance. Like, are they telling JP just do what you do what you think you can do versus center? Or are they saying hey, keep towards this shoulder, keep towards that shoulder? Because in that instance, Omar, I think he's doing a little freelance. He spins on his guy, and they both end up in the same gap.
So, and that's where the mistake had to come in, because I'm going to answer your question. My opinion is I don't think that there's any time they're like, hey, guys, just go get him. Because that's just going to ask for unsound and undisciplined defense, and I just don't see I don't see a good college defensive coordinator just doing that. So I think someone ended up in the wrong gap. I do think it's funny, though, Kyler, that and they get the first down there, but it was a struggle to get 5 yards because this possession started with us giving them a free 5 yards. I don't know if it's neutral zone or offsides or illegal formation or what it was.
It was they called a false start on us, and after watching it, the center moved the ball.
Okay.
And they still called it on us. Like the center, like he did the thing.
Yeah.
And Omar took off. And then that's why the whole defense was pointing at the offense and was like, it's them. It's not us.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't know what it was, but I just thought it was funny. Like, this is such that I wanted to bring it up. It's like, yo, this defense is so good that a 1st and 5, and they had to grind it out on a 3rd and 3. And so, just kudos to them. Then you got 1st and 10, Omar Norman Lott bullies. AC, man, Arion Carter, it was a dip, and he saw it. He shot his gun. He dipped up under the guy trying to block him, and he got out to the corner. I think the guy maybe kind of like stiff-armed him, and it was technically a break tackle, but he did a really good job to get there. And then JP fought through a double team to go ahead and push him out. Then you got a great seal block by Florida.
I thought the next play, so Arion is like back and forth. I see him make such good plays, and then there's some that I'm like, wait, where are you going? Like it was literally the next play after that one where he scraped over the top, where he like goes to the back side or like goes to the other side where T-Lander is, and I'm like, Arion, what are you doing, dude? Like,
so I've actually seen that multiple times, not only with all of them, because I have another one in here where T-Lander on one, like he looks like he's dropping back in pass pro, and it's a damn run play. And then there's another one where T-Lander and Jalen Smith jump way outside, and the guy cuts him underneath. Yep. That's a little bit later in the game, but there was a couple there. I was a little bummed they didn't show the replay of the sneak, not the one that was stripped clearly.
I thought it was a horrible spot. I really thought it was short.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to see it on TV. And on this up and coming play, I need a little bit more from Caleb Perry on setting the edge, which he did later in the game a couple times where I noticed him really set the edge and really walk the tight end back and keep his shoulder upfield. Another nice play by Arion Carter. So we're just on that teeter-totter with Arion. Really good play, flash, needs something a little bit better, but, dude's still young.
Amari.
Yeah, Amari played a great game. I have another one here. Nice play design. And Ricky had to chase all the way. And then 3rd and 1, Big O and Bryson just wow.
Amari splits the backside double team just immediately off the ball. He just splits both the guard and tackle and is just in the backfield. It's incredible.
If someone made me pick like my favorite D lineman, I couldn't do it. It'd be like picking a child because not because I necessarily have a favorite, but because I feel like I would be doing a disservice to one of them. Because you're like, man, 4th and 1, game on the line. It's like, give me Omari Thomas and Bryson Eason. And then it's like, wait, I love Omar Norman Lott. And then it's like,
I love Elijah Simmons.
And then it's like Elijah Simmons always walks somebody back in a short yardage. And then
I love the aggression of Tyree West.
And he was the next one I was about to say. It's like Tyree West will absolutely dummy someone. You put him on an edge, but then it's like, well, you don't want to put him on an edge because then you take James Pierce or Joshua Joseph. And then, all your role players and rotational guys, the Dalvin, Jackson Moa, Jason Jenkins, and Dominic Bailey and Dalvin Hobbs. It's like every one of them. It's insane. Like, and I will never not shout it out, and I will never not appreciate it when I'm watching it. So yeah, like I said, on that 3rd one, I just said, wow. That's all I could say is wow. Okay. You mentioned it last pod about Christian Charles, and I guess it was because he's been a little injured. He played a lot more now. He showed me a trigger and speed and violence that I did not know he had.
He had incredible tackling this game. I mean, he got put in bad spots multiple times where he's the last guy, and he made the tackle.
Yeah, he had the game-saving tackle when the running back got hurt.
Yeah.
And so then good play, motion to Will. Ricky didn't follow. I have missed MA ? I think it probably was. And then I said I feel like if T-Lander played it better, he could have made a play on the ball because it kind of hung up there. This was the one we were sitting there in person. It's coming right at us, and I felt like that ball kind of hung up in the air, and that wheel route. I just feel like something tells me, which I'm not saying that this was his responsibility, but it tells me that Andre Turntine did not see this guy just kind of running free towards him, and he probably had his eyes in the backfield or toward the quarterback or somewhere else, because I think then again, I think if he had his eyes somewhere besides this receiver and the quarterback, because this quarterback kind of lofted this one up there. And I felt like this was a play that Turntine should be able to pick off or at least dislodge in PBU. That's just me. I don't know what you thought about it on tape.
I agree. I thought the same thing, and I think Turntine probably had the worst game of his career so far.
Yeah.
Like, he had a lot of plays that he probably wants back.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, there's so much depth back there that, Will Brooks has been extremely solid. Jacoby Thomas is up and down. He's going to give you some flash plays, and then he'll make me miss one or two. But those flash plays are more than Turntime's given you so far. Christian Charles showed something. So it's like if he doesn't play, he won't get as many snaps. I mean, there are other options there.
Exactly.
1st and 10, Caleb comes. He gives a massive alleyway, but then again, very nice tackle by Christian Charles. He shoots in there fast. 2nd and 3. You got T-Lander and Jalen Smith jump inside, and I have a question mark. And later on, they jump outside, but it was a nice redirect by
It's just like they're guessing. It's like you can't do that. You have to determine what you're going to do based off what the offense is giving you.
Yeah, and that's so played linebacker in high school. I get it. But that's the one position where you really shouldn't be guessing, because you're so close to the line of scrimmage. It's like you're watching the guards, you're watching the fullback, whatever your key is, just read it and it should take you to plays. And these plays that they're jumping inside or outside, when I stop and watch them, I can't come to a conclusion of why. It's like, well, this guard didn't necessarily do this, or the fullback didn't do this. So I don't know. And I don't know what he's teaching them. I will say that it was a nice redirect by Turntine. And Jamad McCoy, he was in at corner, and he came in flying, made a really good, nice hit and tackle. 1st and 10, awesome blitz. I love this blitz by Christian, and then Tyree and Jackson Moa just absolutely wrecked shop. Then the next play, you got a nice rush by Dalvin Hobbs. Unfortunately, didn't keep his rush lane.
Misses.
The next one, I have a great play and play action. That had the linebackers crash super hard. So once again, I was impressed there with Florida. 1st and 10. Here's the one where I'm talking about a really good push by Caleb on the edge, and then awesome blitz and pressure by Andre, and then 2nd and 7, Omari, Bryson, Andre, and T-Lander all there. I'm going to stop before I turn my page. Anything else you want to add to any of those?
This is when I first saw Jalen Smith come into the game, and they did he came down and just left the tight end absolutely wide open in the flat. And then I started watching him throughout the game, and I'm just like, oh boy, like Jalen is not doing what he needs to be doing. Like, he is out of position. He seems confused. He's not following his techniques. So that was just something I saw.
Which is weird because remember, I shouted him out a week ago where I thought he was right on it with the back out of the backfield, but it happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. I don't know. Are you at the point where the screen outside, we send 6?
That's my next play. That's 3rd and 9. I haven't talked about it yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I had. But so that 3rd and 9, screen outside, send 6, 1v1. You got 3 guys versus 3 guys out there, McCoy, Turntine, and Charles. And it's like, hey, you guys know that you're one-on-one, so you have to make a play if you want to stop them on 3rd. So you hate to see them pick up all those yardage. I
was a little frustrated with it too, Kyler. You're not alone. I watched that one multiple times, and it was just like, man,
I just feel like it could have been better. You know what I mean? I know it's difficult. And listen, I said it in the first half of this. I said, I know shit is difficult. I know it freaking sucks sometimes. But guess what? You got to step up and make a play. Like, yeah, it is difficult to be in one-on-one coverage versus a guy, and you don't know if he's going to run a go route or he's going to come up and block you. But once he comes up and blocks you, I need you just to have strong arms, strong hands, force him one way or the other, keep contained, and keep him on the inside and make someone else make a mistake, not you. So it's just stuff like that I'm like,
Yeah, I had the exact same feeling. It was like I wanted to be frustrated, and I'm like, well, I get it, I see it, but I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, 3rd and 9, short side of the field, it's a screen. Like, I don't think they should pick this up in this certain scenario. But
yeah.
technically they didn't, and the reason that you lived to find another down is because exactly what happened on 4th and 1.
Which is an incredible play. Absolutely incredible. I mean, we freaked out when it happened, and you were almost like, who the hell, where was Ricky at? And I said, he was following with the motion. And you're like, no way. He was following with the motion because it looked like he came down from safety. That's how quickly he shot his gun. And then shout out Dominique Bailey forcing the give, playing good sound technique on the quarterback to be like, hey, you're not taking it, give it outside. And then shout out Arion keeping contained and staying the outside and making that guy kind of think, oh, should I cut up here? Oh, should I cut up here? A little bit of hesitation, and Ricky just coming out of nowhere and absolutely taking him out, fighting over top of everything. That is so difficult as a defender.
Dude, I just, I'm in the game, or we're in the stadium, so I'm watching it, and I see all the action in the backfield is where I'm watching first. And so our angle, we're 45, 50-yard line, and so this play is a little bit up from us. So I have a back angle, and I see it. I see they don't hand it. I see the motion. I see it going, and I'm like, holy crap. And by the time my eyes kind of get to following the guy that they gave the ball to, you just see this orange flash. And like you said, we all go nuts. I knew it was a really good, like, coming in, playing fast tackle, but I couldn't really say exactly where it was until everyone just went nuts. I'm like, okay, then it had to have been short. And like you already explained, I was like, what the, like, where did he come from? Like, dude was shot out a missile. I'm like, that is so hype and so awesome. The funny thing is that's a play where I have some of the best seats in the house, but I would have gotten more electric if I was watching on TV, because then you can see kind of exactly how it developed.
Yeah.
You go back and watch that, and that is a 4th and 1 stop, a short yardage stop that is so awesome, but it's so different than maybe what you're used to. Maybe you're used to a handoff, someone gets a really good push, it messes up in the backfield, and you got a whole gang of tackling. Mm-hmm. Or one guy shoots it and just makes the TFL, or someone blows up a fullback, and it's like, no, this was, everyone did what they were supposed to do, and one individual doing his job capitalized on his part. Like you already said, Dominic Bailey makes him give it. Arion Carter and T-Lander were scraping over top. 2 good physical block take-ons, but Arion does a great job to keep his outside shoulder free, turn that mug in. And the other thing about it is the tackle itself. I mean, there's a world where a lot of DBs are going to make that tackle, and the guy can still get a couple yards, whether it's falling forward or stumbling forward
or reaching.
But how fast and how violent and how physical he came in, it just shut it down immediately. And I can't have enough things to say about how impressive a play that was. I will remember that one for a really long time. And kudos to Ricky. After I was pretty down on him and pretty bummed on him after the Arkansas game, with some just very lackluster and poor tackling and poor effort looking type plays. Not that he was not giving effort, but it just looked bad. And to do that, those are game winning plays. Game winning plays.
Exactly. 4th down in the red zone, like, that's huge plays. All right, next drive.
I have Jalen getting his eyes caught on the play action.
Yeah, he literally turns his body to run back inside, and it's open in the flat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is why you don't start. I know why they're putting you in, to give you experience and try and, like, get you some play. But it was like they'd give Jalen a few plays and he would fuck it up and they'd pull him out. They'd be like, get out of there, dude. Like, I can't have you in there. You're fucking this whole thing up, because he then on the next play jumps out of his gap. Like, he literally jumps to another gap and the running back runs right up the middle, and then Turrentine gets absolutely trucked. But then there's another play where I'm like, what kind – hey, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Like, what kind of man are you, right? Like, hey, you got one-on-one running backs coming right at you. How do you want to be remembered? Jacoby Thomas isn't getting trucked like that. I know that. I see it, right? I see the play he has. I see him on kickoff calling dudes out that are 40 pounds heavier than him. He's not going to get trucked like that.
So, Kyler, when we were in the stadium and I saw that, I really got frustrated. I was like, this is bullshit. They're running on us. Somebody's got to wake up. Somebody's got to bring a pop. Someone has to change this momentum. And you see some stuff like that, and, guy gets struck like that, and you're on offense. Hell, the whole team gets juiced for Florida if you see something like that. I go back and watch it. I've been in that position way more times than I would like to be, not getting trucked. Calm down. Calm down.
I'd fucking lay your ass out.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. So I've been in that position where you're at safety and you're not the play gets on you so quick that you don't have time to really kind of bring the pop, and you are playing that like, okay, it's basketball defense. I got to make a tackle here, do anything to kind of slow him down. So it's not a good look, and I was really frustrated in the moment. But now after the moment, I'm a little bit more calm and cool and slow. That's a tough spot to be, because he's trying to make a tackle and he doesn't really have a ton of momentum. So I'm going to cut him a little bit more slack. He did what he had to do, at least get in front of him and slow him down. Someone else can make a tackle. But if that had been mano-a-mano and Turntime would have had a chance to kind of really get some steam and got a truck, then I would have been pretty upset about it.
Okay. Coming from flat feet, I get it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. As we keep going, I got all linebackers bite and leave room over the top for a crosser. Literally, all three of them just like take 2 or 3 steps up. I'm like, okay, great. Joshua beats the block, but then misses the tackle in the backfield. Now that's tough, like where he was position wise.
I need to give a shout out. I'm not sure where you are. My play after Turntime got wrecked. I said, my gosh, Joshua Joseph, Amari, and Bryson just reset the line. It was nasty. Now, it did cause an alleyway, which isn't awesome, but this was another great hustle and hit by Jalen McMurray. And then 1st and goal, and it was this is the strip, and it was unbelievable timing on TV where Louis Riddick, who I really enjoy listening to, talks about James Pierce needing to make a play. And I tweeted it out today. And you already talked about how the offense was moving back and forth, trying to get reset, trying to get ready, or the defense was, trying to, get ready. Florida's moving around a lot. This play, they're standing there, they're waiting. Florida's in their little muddle huddle, and then they try to turn quick and get up under center and sneak it in really quickly. And for them to be sitting there ready, that's very good coaching. They're locked in, they're prepared, they're waiting for it. And the other thing is too, besides just an awesome push by a lot of people, by Jackson, Elijah, Arion Carter, T-Land are all squeezing that A gap. I love to see that James Pierce just didn't run in there and crash, because there's so many times in football when it's a play like this, guys they give a hell of a lot of effort, but it's kind of dumb because they just throw their bodies in there recklessly, and then when they get in there, and
it's like, what'd you just do?
Yeah, it's just like, it's just stupid stuff. And I know that we're guys and we're just Neanderthals sometimes, and we're like, I'm just going to run in here as hard as you can, but like sometimes you need to take your read steps, read the angle, dip under somebody, and then make the tackle instead of just taking yourself out of the play. And the fact that James Pierce didn't do that, where he just didn't crash in as hard as he could, and he plays his sound assignment football, he's waiting there right when Graham Mertz starts to lean because of the really good push, and he goes after the ball. It's incredible play. It's high-level football. It's great coaching. It's really good players making really good plays. And it could have been so easy for James Pierce just to run in there like a madman, crash down on the line of scrimmage, and maybe we stop him. But to get that turnover is monumental.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. Absolutely huge. And really didn't know if it was going to be a fumble or not. But, I mean,
it was very much a delayed satisfaction in the stadium for us.
Yeah, definitely. And then, this is where offense right after that gets some yardage, pushes out. Then they have a turnover. The defense has come back out, right? And what do? They force them into a field goal, into an attempt that they have 12 men on the field. They can't get it going. It's like, talk about having your back. The defense literally stepped up, turned the ball over, gave it to the offense. The offense said, crap, we screwed up. We gave it back to them. Defense said, all right, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
The ultimate got your back moment. So I have it written here, Kyler. Florida gets the ball back or takes the ball back over at the 11 after the return, and there's 1 minute and 11 seconds left. They have 1 minute and 11 seconds for half. They have all the time in the world, you would think, to gain 11 yards and score.
Yep.
And then it just goes false start, incomplete pass. They take a timeout. We take a timeout. Boo sniffing this thing out and triggering was extremely impressive, which we saw a good amount. Then you got 3rd and 14, all-out man blitz, which I love it because we show the all-out man blitz. We got all of our DBs in man-to-man coverage at the 8, 9, 10 yard mark. So if you're going to throw it quick because of the blitz, we're going to come up and make a tackle. If you're going to try to throw something deeper, then it's going to have a hard time for your receivers to get biased at that depth. They bring a robber out, which a robber is somebody that pops out of nowhere. Sometimes it'll be a linebacker that drops back and take away that quick vision, take away quick slants. Sometimes it's a safety that drops down. This one, he had Dominic Bailey drop out, which we've seen him do stuff like this. I remember Pitt game a couple years ago where you bring pressure one side and then the backside damn defensive end drops because you would think, oh, that quarterback sees it coming. I know I got my hot tight end, curling or something. Then as you go to throw it quick, there's big boy linemen standing there. So I love that he brought Dominic Bailey up as the robber.
Yeah.
And then another speed and dip by Boo.
Yeah. I call this the Boo drive because, even the first incomplete pass, Boo was in the flat ready to make a tackle.
Yeah, he was right there making a tackle.
Him kind of aligned up. I don't know if he was almost misaligned because he was, looking around before the play started. And then it was just all reactionary. I'm going after the screen underneath, and he beats the block, makes the tackle, and then you got him on a blitz, and he comes on that outside blitz and is just able to get to the feet, and Omar finishes it, and it's damn, Boo, you were I'm gonna make plays.
He knew what he was doing because he turned around and said something to the safety and was hey, it was almost like he was making sure hey, we all lined up, everybody good. So I didn't think it was he didn't know what he was doing. I thought he knew what he was doing and was making sure everyone else was set, pointing stuff out. But on that blitz, the speed and dip by him was awesome. But then Norman Lott hits a delayed blitz where he doesn't come immediately. They let Arion Carter go in, tie up the running back, and then Omar just gets scot-free. Man, it was incredible. And then there's a penalty and no points. So this Florida team is a Florida fan, a Florida coach, and a Florida player. You have the ball at the 11-yard line with a minute, and you're going in to have 0 points. And the thing is, they were getting ball after half. They could have easily doubled us up. This game could have easily been, I don't know, 10-0, 17-something, 14-something. I mean, this defense was just standing on their head, bro.
Exactly. So this is the prime example of anyone who maybe wants to come at the defense because they let up 17 total points, or that it's do you understand these parts of the game that are happening, that it's really holy crap, they made a huge plays when they needed to.
Extremely impressive.
And then coming out of halftime, so they get ball first and we force a 3 and out. All of these are great plays. Joshua squeezes on the backside He takes away the flat, and then Brooks comes over the top and is able to fight that ball out of the receiver's hands. And those are the kind of things that like Will Brooks is going to do for you.
The thing about that, though, because I love they showed it the other angle, his recognition and getting his eyes to different things and to see everything was a really good play before he even made the PBU, because he has somebody cross his face, he checks it, then he comes back, he says, oh, I got one more coming. He jumps up, takes it. Even if it was a completed pass, I thought he played it really, really well, but he doesn't allow the completed pass. He gets the PBU. So I thought it was an excellent, excellent job by him.
Fantastic. Then Eason just splits the front side down block. Like it is guard tackle, down block, deuce block, somebody pulling around. And Eason was just like, nope, and just splits it completely and is in the backfield immediately and makes that tackle. Those are the kind of things out of our D line that like other teams don't necessarily do, and our team does.
Yeah.
And then back end coverage on third down, really just like making him hold on to the ball for a while. And Omar finishes on his pass rush with a sack. And you can just see like the amount of effort that Omar gives when he's in pass rush.
Yes.
Like it's not like the immediate, hey, I swam a guy and now I'm free and now I'm going to make this tackle. A lot of it at times it's like Omar's fighting. He kind of gets upfield too much. Then he, rips back inside and he dives and makes the sack on a huge third down. And I mean, Nealand is going wild at this point.
Electric in there. Yeah. I don't know if you mentioned it. I know you mentioned that Omari and Bryson and Tyree had good pushes. Boo triggered hard again. And then, on that 3rd and 12 where you just talked about the Omari win, it was a 4-man rush and we dropped and tried to cover up 3rd and 12. And that's also winning football when you can get home with 4. It was huge.
Huge.
Now we go 3 and out on offense. Defense is back immediately.
On this one, on this first play, I wasn't sure if it was man or zone. It kind of –
I wasn't either.
I was like, if this is zone, then I get the completion being like a curl, up underneath. But if it's man coverage, and I'm like, is Turrentine supposed to just be blanketed on this tight end? Like, because it looked like Jermod was in man when he's coming across with a slant, and it looked like Ricky was in man with the guy outside. It confused me a little bit, but they get a pretty good yardage completion.
Next one's just a good clog up.
Yeah.
T-Lander and Jalen did their job on that one.
Yep, they did. And then I got Jalen Smith. Just he's at backside linebacker. He doesn't drop. He doesn't rush. He is kind of just sitting there in no man's land. And then they complete a ball over the middle, and Turrentine misses the tackle. And I'm just kind of like, where he seems lost.
So on this one, Kyler, I honestly watched it multiple times. You looked for a reason of why something didn't work out. And honestly, my note was they bunched up, found open zone, and it was a good play. That's like, it's going to happen sometimes. I mean, a play sometimes is usually designed for someone to be in that spot. I don't know who it was, but when you have a bunch like that, eyes get going all different places. Like I kind of just had tipped to Florida on that one. I didn't see anything, in my opinion, that was super egregious. It's like that I had to be, you have to be better here, you have to be better there. I personally didn't.
Yeah. Next play, this is the one Charles is saving a touchdown saving tackle. But Jalen and T-Lander just like over pursue.
Yeah.
They just overshoot both of them. And I'm like, where are you guys going?
I do want to shout out on that play. Or no, there was the one where Caleb got way upfield, but I love that Caleb Perry rushed back down and got a poke out. Unfortunately the ball gets knocked out of bounds, but I'm always going to shout some stuff like that. You never give up on a play. 10 yards, 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 50 yards downfield, man. Keep going, rushing or running to the ball and trying to make a play.
Yeah.
There was a couple times here on this drive that I thought there was some really nice blocking. We've already talked about it multiple times. Not sure why both linebackers go outside. But, yeah, you said saving tackle by Christian. 3rd and 4, rush lanes. Need to be better, but I thought it was nice.
Easton kind of loses sight of the quarterback.
Yeah, and I thought it was a nice run and nice move by Mertz. I think that's where he put a move on Boo.
Yeah, he did. And then Charles making the open field tackle again.
Yep. Ridiculously great push by Bryson and Joshua Joseph, TFL.
Joshua Joseph's keeping his inside arm, keeps contained, strong inside arm, and makes the tackle. And it was such a huge play by him because all the linebackers went the other way.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't anybody else there past Joshua Josephs to make a tackle.
Yeah, the two of them reset it, and he shed his block and made a tackle. Man, I thought this was a really nice play design for Florida. They got the little bunch and tight ends to the left side of the formation. And I don't need the whiteboard for this because it's just you can watch the pin. They motion to the right side. When they motion, turn time as the deep safety comes from kind of middle of the field to more shade right. Well, then as they snap the ball, he comes in motion again, and turn time doesn't move. I'm not saying turn time's in man coverage, but as a deep safety, if you're in the zone, what you want to do is split the difference. If you're by yourself, you want to be in as much of a middle of the field, as you can be. Now, I get it. A defensive coordinator be like, well, we're actually in cover 3 and turn time is just the middle, and so he doesn't need to worry about the left or the right because that's supposed to be the deep corners, whatever the case may be. But my thing was watching, I'm like, well, why is he moving if he's supposed to be middle third? Because, well, he's moving because he's shading to the side that has 2 receivers. Well, when that other receiver comes right back across, he doesn't come back this time. So something's amiss there. Well, when they snap it, when he comes in motion, all it takes is Ricky to peek his eyes in the backfield once or twice, and you got Ricky, Joshua Joseph as the defensive end, and then the linebacker, and they're all trying to grab someone and guard someone, but it's too late because the eyes in the backfield, and it's just a nice little dump over the top. Like I said, no safety there. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a great play design, but there was miscommunication, misassignment somewhere.
It looked like cover 1 to me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought so with Turntine in the middle of the field. He was shaded more over to the double wide receivers, but doesn't move. I thought it was more like, hey, you're just, middle safety for anything. And then everybody else was in man because that's what it seemed like. Ricky was supposed to pick up the tight end, but his eyes were in the backfield. Arion was supposed to pick up the other one, but his eyes were in the backfield. Like it wasn't necessarily –
The reason I disagree that it wasn't man, no one followed the motion man the first time. No one followed him.
That's true.
So that's why I was like, because I thought the same thing at first. I'm like, okay, maybe we're in, cover 1 and single high, but no one followed. Only thing that happened was turn time shaded a little bit more, but he didn't shade back. So I don't know what it was, but like I said, good play design by Florida, good touchdown.
Yeah.
All right.
Aaron's interception.
Yes, man, this thing was a thing of beauty. Louis Riddick talked about it perfectly. This is absolute perfect teaching tape as a linebacker. I love to see this, and it gets me very, very excited when a guy is working his zone, meaning he's rerouting, he's getting his depth, he's got his eyes to find work. So it's like, okay, I'm splitting the difference. I got this first receiver coming up. I'm going to get hands on him. I'm going to try to reroute him the best I can to help my boys in the back. Once I reroute him, I'm looking and turning to find what else. Oh, I'm getting my depth, and I see that this number 1 who had crossed my face, he's coming back. So I'm going to sit and get my depth right underneath it. The quarterback throws it right to him. He goes up and high points it, makes it a play. It was as perfect gets. Mm-hmm. My goodness, I know it was an easy catch, but thank you for catching it because there's way too many times.
There's a lot.
We get too many times that there's DBs and corners that will have that opportunity and they drop them. And that was such a monumental play in that game, and he did it perfectly.
Yeah, this is right after touchdown. So we're right back in this game. It is 7-10, and Arion gets this pick in the first play. And I mean, talk about kneeling loud, like it's going wild up in there. Wild.
Very
So
much.
huge play by Arion. And those are the things that we're seeing from Arion where we're like, hey, this guy's gonna be good. Like he's doing what he needs to do. But like we said earlier, there's just like a couple where you're like, huh, what was that?
Yeah, and you know what I like about this too, because in the game it's opposite side from us. So I was like, wow, did that quarterback just make a boneheaded play and throw it right to him? Which, if that's the case, then good on us. We're lucky, and he made the catch. But no, you go back and watch it, and Arion really did everything well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it goes from being like happy about the play to being like really happy, like, wow, he played that absolutely perfect, compared to just kind of being in the right spot at the right time, which either way we'll take it. But to see that he did that perfectly, like, made me very excited.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Next drive, I got this is one where Arion kind of sprints out, kind of over pursues, and leaves a gap up the middle. A quarterback pulls it, runs up the middle. He doesn't give it to the option or to this sweep that's coming across. Let's see. Oh, this play by Ricky in this drive is just absolutely incredible. The defense is late to line up. T-Lander still has good eyes, and he gets to the flat, and he takes the guy in the flat. As the guy's rolling out, Ricky is trailing all the way across the field and makes a diving pass breakup. And it's like, holy crap. Talk about two huge plays in this game. The fourth down stop by Ricky coming all the way across formation, and this pass breakup by Ricky coming all the way across the formation. It's just, I mean, that's the stuff that fires up the defense, fires up the offense, is something that you want out of all your players because it's effort. It's so much just effort.
It was a hell of a play, man. Hell of a play. And before you even get to there, I thought two plays before that, it was Bryson and T-Lander did a good job of taking on blocks and kind of holding the line of scrimmage there. But I got to give your boy Caleb Harrington a shout out. He chased down from the backside to get in on the play. But the 2nd and 6 was a heck of an effort by Boo Carter. Now, I get it. It wasn't necessarily a good play for the Tennessee defense because they got, basically a first down or whatever it was because of the run. But Boo is on the right side. He comes in like he's blitzing or filling a gap, and the quarterback takes off the other way, and he just puts his foot in the ground and chases from behind. And, I'm not going to say saves a touchdown, but makes a really, really good play. And that is, once again, just winning football, of giving that effort. And it's very demoralizing when you run as hard as you can one way, and the next thing you know, you got to redirect and go all the way back up from basically where you just came from, but opposite. So just great football. The play about Ricky, you've already talked about it. Play action, locking your man up. This is mano-a-mano, elite man coverage. It's really impressive. Hell, the next play, the 2nd and 10, they try to come back to him on an out route. Pretty good throw. Guy definitely had a chance to make a catch, but it was pretty good coverage. Ricky didn't EU it, but he would have been there to make the tackle.
Yeah, he was there.
I thought he was still pretty good defense.
Yeah, I agree. Then they run that little hitch on 3rd and 10. So it's like we're going to go for it on 4th. And then this is Jermod making just being in perfect coverage. The ball's thrown behind a little bit, but he bats it away. And this is where you were like, huh? Like I started to think about it, and I go, I haven't seen Jermod at all this game. Like I haven't really, like, watching it back, I'm like, I haven't really seen him do anything in this game. And then it made me go, oh, because they're not throwing it over there.
Yeah,
That's why, because they know what the kind of corner he is. They're not trying to test him.
It's what happens when you have a really, really good corner. And, you talk about it all the time in the NFL and stuff. And you got the Patrick Surtains and the Sauce Gardners and, whoever else of the worlds. And you just realize that, like, they're guarding, a good receiver on the other team. And it's like, well, what the hell? That receiver's got 3 targets but no catches, or 1 catch for 5 yards. And it's like, yeah. That's why these guys get paid the big bucks. That's why they're premium, because they can take away an entire side of the field, or they can take away an entire elite other player. It's impressive. It's very impressive.
So far, this defense has 2 4th-down stops, a goal line turnover, and a interception in in their own red zone. So it's like this defense has been playing out of their minds and playing very, very well.
Yeah. Even hell, I got to give a shout out. I've got it right here in front of me. That was a hell of a pretty good pressure, good throw on that 3rd and 10. That Florida guy went up and snagged that. Like, that's a winning football play. I'm actually about to watch the Jermon McCoy play here again. But yeah, like, go ahead and keep going. It's winning football, man. Winning football.
Next drive, Charles comes on a blitz and gets a TFL. Back, he times it up great, gets into the backfield, makes the tackle. Those are one of those ones, because you're coming from so deep that you're worried, like, oh, you're coming too fast, maybe you missed this. But man, he was a solid tackler all day.
Which is actually I mean, what else are you supposed to do if you're Florida? I mean, I would say don't go at our best corner, but they have 2 receivers over there. They motion. They see they get man because Boo follows. It's 4th and 3. They got to have it, and so they go to the wide side of the field. It's the most elementary play. If you need a couple yards, we're going to put our good receiver over there. There's no one on the inside of you. Take 3 steps and cut it in. Now, like you've already mentioned, I'm glad you pointed out the throw was not perfect, which in slants they got to be out in front or into the body, because if they're a little bit behind. But great freaking coverage, man. I love that I love that he gets a little bit of hands on him when he's coming inside, but it's not PBU. It's just to fill him and then make a play on the ball.
Reed's about to bust. Oh my God, about the best.
If people don't know that, what's that guy's name? The actor, he passed away somewhat recently, but Leslie.
Leslie something. I can't remember his last name.
The small, little, older white guy. He just talks like this, and there's that viral video that went around. He goes, "Ooh, I'm about to buzz." And you and Bailey and Austin, man, like, y'all kill me with that.
Okay, so on the next drive. Great blitz by Charles, tackle for loss. Then I got Bryson Eason disrupts the guard, the tackle, and the tight end on one play. He literally takes all 3 of those guys with him into the backfield and leaves T-Lander wide open for a tackle. And I was like, holy crap, Bryson. Like, you just took the whole side of the whole side of the line with you. You're just like, and everyone's like, oh wait, who were we supposed to block? And then T-Lander's just wide open. That's what you want out of your D line. Not necessarily making the tackle every time, but they're just causing havoc.
Disrupt, baby. Disrupt and reset lines of scrimmage.
Then we got a delay of game. Shout out Neyland. They had multiple delay of games. And then twist up front on 3rd down causes that disruption in the backfield. He starts trying to roll out. Joshua Josephs, great adjustment to retrace, get his hand up, bat the ball as the guy's trying to throw it. And now they're backed up, 4th down, having to punt to us.
This is great. It's great defense. They do what they do. Keep rolling.
Moy retraces on the tunnel screen. When we were watching it live, I was like, who just made that tackle? That was huge. I couldn't even tell, and it was a freaking 3 technique. That's
probably every year that Heupel's been here so far, there's 1 or 2 of those, like probably at least 1 a game where I'm like, holy moly, like what an effort. I remember Matthew Butler doing it. Roman Harrison doing it. Shout out one of the madmen that was the Energizer Bunny. Tyler Barron would do it. And it's big fellas too. Like I've seen Amari Thomas do it multiple times. Omar Norman Lott. I mean, and that is great D-line play, and that is a Rodney Garner special. Like you better be hustling your ass until the play's over.
Exactly, and that makes a huge difference because it stops them short of the first down. The next play, JP does a fantastic job of he's the read man. So what does he do? He takes away the sweep, makes the quarterback pull it, and then T-Lander and Arion are there to make a tackle.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're in third down, and on third down, they try a back shoulder to Jamad, and it's like you're not getting anywhere with that. Ends up going out of bounds, and it's like now you're punting. So what a huge play by Moy to like, hey, I'm going to retrace and make this tackle. You made them punt. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
Let's see. On these next couple of drives, this is where Florida started to get big punt returns that really kind of set them up, which is pretty frustrating. You can tell on a couple of them when you're looking at the blockers for them that they were like, "Oh, we are setting this up to run to the outside." And for people. I saw tweets about Coach Eckler.
This should be good.
And being like, hey, like, maybe we need to rethink this. Like, maybe we need another person. Guys, let's calm the fuck down, okay? Coach Eckler has done a fantastic job with special teams since he's been here. A fantastic job. For you to come in after 2 20-yard punt returns and be like, fire him. Get the next guy in. I need you to chill out. Like, this is a damn good coach. Florida had a good scheme and a good adjustment on their punt return. Because guess what? They weren't able to return any of the other punts. Okay.
I do have a question. So I'm not going to act like I've been super locked in to all the special teams. Since he's been here. So, but I don't necessarily, I can't think of anything just horrendous. Obviously we had the punt return with D Williams against Texas A&M, which I just mentioned earlier, that is a huge part of winning that game. So that's massive for Coach Eckler. I don't really remember giving up any like punt return for touchdowns or kick return for touchdowns I can think of now. The only thing that I would ever have a bugaboo about is what we've already talked about with the Squirrel White not catching punts, because that is it shouldn't ever happen. It should not ever happen. It's a big part of the game with field position. But yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because there's nothing that I can really think of that I've ever been like, wow, our special teams are garbage. I mean, I don't even know if we've really had many punts blocked, anything like that.
No, we haven't. And we've blocked punts.
I think the only punt I can remember getting blocked was maybe year 2 at Pitt, but I can't remember anyone since then.
Yeah, that's right. So I got T-Lander taken off outside, just over pursuing again. Tyree West just attacking the mesh point. Fantastic play in the backfield. Just like we said earlier, havoc. Jacoby comes on a blitz, but he misses. Like, this is what I was kind of referring to earlier. Like, Charles came on a blitz earlier and he made the tackle. Sometimes when you're coming from that distance, you're coming so fast, it's tough. But Ricky does a very good job of closing on the outside and being able to kind of force him. Then JP comes on that twist inside, and Boo cleans up the sack for us. And forces them to punt back.
Boo's a weapon. But so is, Christian Harrison did really, really well before he got injured. I I love our nickel blitzes, and I love that he doesn't necessarily just bring them outside every time. I love that he lets those guys walk in, get close to the line of scrimmage, almost like a safety coming down from top, because there was a point there, which I don't know if it was Heupel or even Pruitt, where it was just like, how many times do I have to see our nickel line up like he's going to play, press coverage, and then he comes, and it's like, dude, he's blitzing from like 20 yards away. Now with Tim Banks, it's, hey, they get chances. If they're out there, they'll start creeping inside and then gun it. I think he's done it, whether it's his teaching job or they've recruited good athletes, but we've had some really guys that trigger really quickly. They don't show it. Just good blitzers.
Yeah.
And it's unique too, but just the same old.
He makes it confusing. Sometimes he brings the guys up on the line and they back out. So it's like, it's good. Next drive. So this is where they score the tying touchdown on this drive. Big punt return to set them up. Then you've got some runs to a big run to try and get in position. I think T. Lander took himself out of the play, and Caleb Perry on the backside, like he's done it. He did it a couple times in this game where he's like swiping up underneath the backside block, and I'm like, Caleb, what? Like, you can't do anything doing that. You're going nowhere. You're going away from the ball. So why would you ever do that? Why would that be your instinct to go back away from a blocker on the backside? Like, what are we doing here? Like, fight over top. I know you're not in a great position and you got a bigger guy in front of you, but fight over top. You're never going to make a play going backside.
Yeah, agreed.
Eason makes the tackle for loss. Fantastic play. Left guard, actually, it looks like he doesn't know who to block. He just doesn't block anybody. And then we have a false start. So it's like we're backed up. Like, they're backed up now. Okay. They got a first down, then a tackle for loss, then a false start. So it's second and long. Then they try and run a running back screen. Arion avoids two blockers. He does a very good job getting to it, and he gets a tackle for loss. We're now in 3rd and 17, and you think this defense has played lights out all game. They've let up 10 points. They've gotten 2 turnovers. They've forced, turnovers on downs twice. Now we're in a position where our defense is on the field to win us the game. This is great. And Turrentine falls for a corner post. And leaves the damn middle of the field wide open. I just couldn't believe it. I hated the rush lanes by the front four, just leaving it wide open in the middle. This play right here is why I mentioned at the beginning of defense about Jalen Milroe. This play right here is your ultimate nightmare situation with Jalen Milroe, where he can step up in the pocket and he has free reign to run and get 20 yards easily, but he also has the full field in front of him to throw this ball anywhere he wants.
So, well, first off, to jump in on a couple different things, I think leading up before that happened, you mentioned it, some really, really good plays. I mean, if you're a fan, if you're a coach, you're like, time's ticking. We're under a minute. We've got guys sniffing stuff out, making plays. Our defense, once again, it's, hey, this is who we should want on the field to win the game. Last week we had the offense. And I know the defense had a chance to make some plays, so they didn't score, but technically the offense was the one with the ball in their hands last, which happens in this game as well in overtime. Mm-hmm. But it's the only thing that I would say, and you were talking about with Milroe stepping up, I was really impressed for this freshman to keep his eyes downfield and do that. Like, Milroe maybe just takes it off and tries to get it with his legs, so hopefully he doesn't have the wherewithal to keep his eyes downfield. But I feel you. You couldn't play this drive much more perfect. And then, we were together, obviously, so we had this conversation. I'll be interested to see what some people in the comments say. But I was nervous as hell that he was going to go for 2 because I always hate when the game comes down to one play.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Kyler, I feel really good about our defense in short yardage. Fourth and short, first or third and short, goal to go. Like I feel really good about those things. But I'm still was happy that he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they have performed well in those situations this year in this game alone too.
Yeah.
I don't think, they didn't on the 4th and 1 where they did a quarterback sneak in the beginning of the game. I don't think he actually got it. I think it was a horrible spot. And then they did a quarterback sneak to try and get the touchdown, and we forced a fumble, and he wasn't in. Like it was going to be another play. Like we stopped that momentum.
Oh, you're talking about the strip?
The strip.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't going to score regardless.
Right.
So it's like in short yardage, in these nut cutting times, our defense steps up a lot. So
technically in nut cutting time, when we go to overtime, they rebounded them well, and
well.
played overtime is about as perfect as you can play it. And
the few things in overtime, Jermod on the first play, he doesn't fall for the fake crosser and drops back and is able to take over that guy, run into the corner of the end zone. And that is the biggest difference in this drive because Christian Charles is trailing this guy. And if this ball is thrown pretty good,
it's got a chance.
I think he's got a chance for a touchdown. Jermod does a fantastic job adjusting and getting depth. Fantastic. They get a little false start. We run twists versus a running back screen. That's how you stop screens. You run twists. How do you stop screens and draws? You run twists. And Eastern, they twist right into where the running back is and just plows him into the dirt.
Good recognition, too. Good recognition, too. Not necessarily saying that he sniffed it out from the jump, but the recognition to be like, running back's here, it's coming this way, make the tackle,
Exactly. And then they run up the middle on 3rd and 20, just trying to get some yardage, and they miss that field goal. Huge, just huge plays overall by the defense all night.
You never feel super comfortable until the game's over. When I saw them run on that 3rd down, I made a comment that I thought I was a little surprised by that. And it's like, wow, okay, you're playing for the field goal. Like, I get it. You don't necessarily trust our offense. I probably still would have tried to throw it. I would have probably tried to get the running back out so that he could maybe run it. Because at that point it was like a 40-something yarder. I guess he's trying to get it to a 30-yarder. But yeah, I wouldn't have just conceded for the field goal. At that point, I'm probably going to try to make something else happen. But when they miss it, you're like, it's about as good as you can feel. Even if they had made the 3, when they miss it, and you're like, okay,
yeah.
Like, is barring a fumble or like a pick or a pick 6, like it had to be something astronomical to go wrong. So you start feeling pretty good, and then, the offense handled business. So overall, before you click that thing down, I don't care what it looks like. There was a lot of missed opportunity offensively, and I'm really, really hoping that it clicks. Whether it's Nico seeing it, whether it's the offensive line protecting and picking up games better, whether it's wide receivers catching the ball when it does hit them in the hands. I don't care what it is, all of it. I hope it picks up. But I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to complain about a win against Florida. And if you do, I can't help you because
not after going freaking 12 years without one. Listen, if we got trade back and forth, home win, like, give me that over the 12 years of shittiness and, never winning.
I hate to say it, but they've had our number just kind of like we have Kentucky's number. Even when Kentucky's good and we're probably not that good, we usually handle them. And it's kind of how Florida's been too, where we just kind of choke some away. So yeah. I always will enjoy it. Hit that thing down. Now,
Vols versus Bama, baby.
I haven't put a quote up for a reason. There's not been a quote mentioned because I'm not writing it or typing it. I am going to play it for you, and I hope this comes across decently well. If not, you can go and find it. It is from a hometown guy. It is from a former Vol for Life that everyone knows, and I'm assuming basically everyone enjoys him and his speeches. But there's an Inky Johnson, and I've heard the full speech, but I am a lame-o. And sometimes when I'm tired of listening to music and I do need to get a little jazzed up, a little fired up, maybe I'm a little tired, maybe it's a leg day, maybe it's a cardio day, and music's not doing it, and I need a little bit more than a podcast, like I'll just listen to different motivational videos, which is funny because like I'm very self-motivated, so they don't get me motivated. They just kind of get me juiced is the best way to put it. And so there's one that I listen to, and in the middle of it, they bring Inky in, and it's his speech or his part of his speech that gets me juiced. And so I'm going to play it for you, and hopefully it doesn't just sound like some middle of the mall garbage. Still in your line there, but of course I closed YouTube out, and now it went away. But hold on,
Inky is by far the best speaker I've ever experienced. Like he came and talked to us a few times when I was at Tennessee, and like that dude is next level.
And it's, you know, if you're going to be a influential motivational speaker, I mean, people can have gifts of just being really good at speaking and talking and articulating things, but it makes it for me so much different when someone has been through something or someone was elite at what they did. Like if Nick Saban talks about coaching, Bill Belichick talks about coaching, I'm going to listen. You know, if Al Wilson talks about playing middle linebacker and leading a team, I'm going to listen. But when it comes to adversity and hard work and Inky Johnson, like I'm going to listen. So I'm going to play this. The first thing you hit is Eric Thomas, and then it cuts over to Inky Johnson's part. So I'm going to let it do a little bit of Eric Thomas's so that you can then start to gather all of the Inky Johnson. So hold on. Hold on. Damn it, Karen, calling me. Hold on. Sorry.
You're good.
What are you going to do to separate yourself? If you ain't got more heart than me, if you ain't been working harder than me, if you ain't sacrificed more than me, I'm going to destroy you. And I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care what they say on paper. I don't care how many games you won. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat.
I mean, if you hear that shit, could you hear it?
Yeah.
Bro, that gets me fucking juiced. When he said, and I'm not going to quote it quote for quote, but it's like, you haven't been working harder than me. You know, you haven't sacrificed more than me. You know, I'm going to destroy you. And then when he says, like, no retreat, I don't care how many games.
We die by this. No retreat.
And he goes, there's no retreat. I don't care how many games you've won or what it says on paper. Like, it's the ultimate, dude. You let me listen to that, I'm going into the ring against Brock Lesnar. It's not going to end well for me, but your boy's going in there super fired up. I mean, it is. That shit gets me juiced. I mean, that is what you hear, and then you see Jacoby Thomas go and murder someone, and you're just like, ah. So that's the quote, man. That's the quote. It's like, I mean, this is it. Like,
this is the defining game of our season right now, because where Alabama is and where we are, right? Both one-loss teams, both haven't looked the best out there. You know, Alabama losing to Vandy, then a two-point win versus South Carolina, us losing to Arkansas, then an overtime win versus Florida. This is such a huge who is moving forward in the SEC moment. It, like, if there is not a like vibe inside that building and understanding the magnitude of this game, then I don't know if they're alive. Like, I don't know if their heart's beating, because this is such a huge, like, defining, like, program defining game too, because it's like, hey, you guys have this new coach, but the tide has turned. Like, it's not in y'all's favor anymore.
Well, you also, and I'm really happy you mentioned that because I didn't want it to be like, oh, this is the number one game and it matters more than anything because it's Bama. No, like Florida was a huge game, huge win. Going to Oklahoma, big win that I really wanted personally, and I love to see that. But you said it perfectly. You've already unfortunately slipped up and got beat by a team that you shouldn't have got beat by. You lose this one, it makes your season goals extremely, extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. This is one that you have at home. So win this one at home so that if something happens when you go on the road at Georgia or someone else, because each week has seemed to be very tough in college football right now for everyone. So I'm happy that you mentioned that it's not just it's Alabama, because I don't want to put necessarily Alabama against above Georgia or against Florida. Everyone, Tennessee fans, you each have your one that you really, really want to win and really, really want to beat. Growing up, it was bigger for us to beat Florida than it was for Alabama. That's just how it was. That would have never been the case for other people. So each person has it. I know this third Saturday in October, but it's a big one because it's at home. It keeps you, if you lose, it keeps you from your potentially keeps you from your ultimate goals. And the other thing is, Kyler, too, kind of you were talking about like Kalen Bohr, it's a new tide, it's a new coach for them. I want to be able to follow up and be like, hey, we beat you at home 2 years ago. Last year we went into your place, hit you in the mouth, played pretty well. Some questionable calls. I'm not going to say that the refs caused us the game, but definitely some questionable stuff in that second half.
Yeah.
Defend your home turf. Say, like, hey, if we're going to swap home and home, that's another big one too. So my keys to the game, Kyler, this is very obvious. Offense just has to be better. Everyone.
Execute.
That's it. You're right. Execute. Everyone has to be better at executing, catching passes, making the right throws, blocking, run game. So that's pretty simple, as you got to execute. Now, defensively, my keys to the game are just do not let Milroe beat you with his legs. If it's just like what teams are doing in Tennessee right now, do everything you can to stop the run game. Mm-hmm. For Alabama, you got to stop the quarterback run game and the running back run game and probably some quick throws. Listen, if they beat us by chucking deep balls and Ryan Williams goes up and makes plays, I can live with that because he's really, really good. I'm going to be pissed.
Don't get demoralized when he makes a big play.
I'm going to be pissed if we lose no matter what. But if it's a run show and they can come in and run on us and Milroe's running wild, I'm going to be furious. Like, you have to make that guy try to beat you with his arm. And if you do that, you're going to have a chance to win the game. And that's it. That's all there is. I think it's that simple for us. Contain him, have good rush lanes. Don't be diving at feet. You got to break down, make good tackles, but just be fundamentally sound on defense and make him beat you with his arm.
Yeah, because I do believe that Ryan Williams will have big plays in this game. It's just what it's going to be. Jermod's going to be on him most of the time, but like we saw versus Arkansas, it's like you can be in great coverage, but if the ball's placed properly and the receiver has good hands, and Ryan is a freak with his body control, so like I anticipate him making plays. You cannot get demoralized. You cannot be like, oh, woe is me. Now here they go again. No, step up, make a play on the next down. Live to play the next down. So this is going to be a dog fight. I already know it. And offensively, like I said, we just got to execute. You have to execute. You have to make your blocks. You have to play football together. It's all 11. It's not 10. It's all 5 on the O-line. It's not 4. It's everyone together doing their job and doing what they're supposed to do, and you'll have success. And you got to execute. You got to hit some of these deep balls. We got to be able to block up front. We got to be able to hit our rushing lanes, and we got to be able to block on the edge too. Okay, wide receivers are going to need to block on these DBs well. I can already see it. But this is a game that can be had. Vanderbilt just beat them. We can beat them. It's not the same old Alabama.
I completely agree. The only thing, offensive game plan, I hope we see some really good wrinkles with the quarterback run game, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I do too. I really want to see more design Nico runs.
Yep.
All right, brother. Great pod.
See ya, brother. Go Vols.
Go Vols. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download. Follow us on all those listening platforms. Follow us on social media as well. At Pancakes and Bacon on Twitter for our main account. At Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, it's at rbacon26 on Twitter. And then myself is just at Kyler Curbison on all social medias. So check me out there. And very much appreciate you guys. Let's take the fight to Alabama. And as always, go Vols.